Mallory and Emily from when they were little.
Oh man,
cute. Okay, Instagram go live. Wait, I do. Yep. Hey, everybody! Happy Monday. Seems like we're just doing this about 22 hours ago, which we were.
Just about.
We were. But we are going to be answering listener questions with no phone calls. I do not have the phones hooked up. So shout out to Disney End Zone over on Instagram, Kate Gigasante, and Simon's over on Instagram. What's up, Simon? Over in the UK. We're just talking about you. What's up, Sully? If you're still out, still staying up late, Sid and the fam, Broadway Diz, Abigail Bishop, Miss Christie 61, Diz Kool-Aid, Aaron Moraine 34, Ronald Leo 7. I love saying Instagram names because they're so hard to and everybody on Facebook and YouTube and all those places as well. Happy Monday. We're gonna get ready to answer your listener questions. If you have listener questions, drop them in the comments. Oh, kids are in bed. They should be. It's late there.
What, Simon's kids are in bed?
Yes. I mean,
yeah.
He's gonna regale the stories of how big of a rock star he is.
You want to talk about Simon being a rock star? Like, I mean, I'm just hearing so many great things about Simon today, and then boom, all of a sudden, I get an Instagram follow from Simon. Like, you want to talk about like a highlight moment? You know, like Simon requested me to be friends with him or followers on Instagram. I mean, like, I got to quit from there, Mike. Like that is like I can't get any better than that. Right?
That's right. I mean, it's Simon. He follows. It's stars following stars is what that is. You know, it's game.
I wouldn't call myself a star, but he is though. I mean, like, I hit my highlight right there.
What do they say? Game recognized
game.
Is that what it is? And look at Patty coming in here with the sweet words. Hi, Mike and Scott. I love this podcast. Can't even tell you how much. Oh my! Where are
the ladies at today? Is there secret? Like, is there a secret location?
Pam is at Disneyland, I think.
Oh man!
So here's the deal with Pam. Since she's not here, let's talk about her for a second. You know this because I've told you this. I think on Find My Friends.
Oh yeah.
Because I follow you on Find My Friends, right? And we follow each other. You know where I am. You can see me and I can see you. So like this is great today because I could see like when you were coming home from work, I knew, okay, he's on his way home. Cool.
I saw me driving on the wrong side of the road because we got highway construction for the next 2 years.
Well, see, that worried me, but I wasn't looking that close. I did see that you were leaving your work, and I
like, why is Scott heading
I don't know
on a southbound lane?
I don't even know how long it takes you to get home. Now I know how long it takes Ricky to get home because I do that every week. So anyway, I follow you, I follow Ricky, and I know like when you leave work, okay, cool, I can start getting things ready, everything to record. Anyway, Pam, though, she can see my location because like I've given her that permission, but for like 5 years, I can't see where she is. And it's so like
that's how I am too. Same with like Jocelyn is another one that I'm like,
I'm not gonna pop up. I'm not gonna pop up and scare her. Like, I just would like to know, like, are you home? Like this week.
I just like seeing the cool places where people are.
Dude, my dad does this to me. Like my dad can see my location, but I think my dad just doesn't know how to work it. Like I gotta get on his phone and like do it because
I'm funny with you. Like I try to, you go to the same places all the time, so I can't be like
mine's the most boring thing in the world.
So I just can't be like, like you're at some funny place today.
Yeah,
like
I'm in Taco Bell. Yeah,
I do this with Jared a lot. Like he was at like the library, like over the weekend. I'm like, what's this guy doing at the library? So I messaged him like, what's happening at the library today? And then
how's
like
card catalog.
There was like a concert in their little area. Like it looked kind of cool actually. I mean, he's always up to something cool. That's what I mean.
Oh my god!
But yeah, but you're like. And I like following you, and like, and it's fun when you do go to a new spot. And sometimes I'll be like, "Oh, Mike, like, where are you at today?" Look at that.
We have a couple of times ventured out to a new place called the Brass Rail. That's our new.
Okay.
Yeah, that place is pretty good. They sponsor the football team, so
there you go.
Yeah, I mean, I still get the same thing. I still get a.
But it's fun. Like it's really helpful with like family too. Like to know like what my dad is or my brother, you know, and Emily obviously. So,
but I want to do it for my dad. My dad goes to all these football stadiums, right?
Yeah,
and like I'd like to see during football season. So like I thought, okay, so I just sent him a thing like, you know, can I follow you? So he accepts it so he can follow me, but I can't follow him. It says he can see me, but I can't.
I had to actually like it was the same thing with my dad, and It was weird. We had to like call Apple or like it got crazy or like we had to reset him a bunch of times. We finally got there. I just had to like do it for him basically.
Okay, maybe
but he wasn't trying to like block me. He genuinely could not figure out how to do
maybe
it.
that's what it is. Because I'm about to call him a knucklehead and give him a knuckle sandwich.
I need to know where he was like when he was in California and all that. So that's
exactly it. I just like to know, like, are you because my dad's not super exciting either, but I just look at the football schedule. Like, are the Rams home? But I mean, if the Rams are home, that means my dad's further away. Because if the Rams are at home, they're in LA. If they're away, sometimes they're in Chicago or they're Green Bay. They're closer. Yeah. But anyway, it's crazy. So if anybody has questions, we need questions. As long as it's not about Find My Friends. But yeah, anyway, so Pam, I think, is at Disneyland. Ricky's at a preacher's retreat this weekend.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Because her husband's becoming a preacher.
That's what I heard. That's what the word on the street is.
Ricky is a preacher's wife. Can you believe that?
My buddy Jake, I think you heard me talk about Jake. Yeah. His dad became like I don't know what the right terminology is, but basically became a preacher yesterday.
That's cool. So, yeah, that's cool. No, it's just so funny because I've known Ricky my whole life, right? I mean, like I even substituted for a 6th grade class one day, and now she's gonna be like Brian would make a great preacher. Like he's super like positive and inspirational. Like that's a great calling for him. And Ricky's super nice, but it's just so funny because I've seen her like, but I mean she'll be good at it too. It's so I don't know. It's so funny when somebody right is like, oh, she's gonna be a preacher's wife. Because like you see all the TV shows and like the stereotype, like now she's got to have like a purse on her arm, but she kind of does that. I don't know. We're all getting older.
Oh man, that's funny.
I can't make fun of anybody like that. I go to dinner at 4:00 at Brasserelle, so whatever. All right, so still looking for some questions. Disney End Zone says we have one about Mickey's Not So Scary. When are we going to get more info? That's a great question because I don't know. I wish Disney told me. Hey, Mike, guess what? We're going to tell you. Actually, we should in the next week or so.
We should do what?
Find out about the tickets for Mickey's Not So Scary.
Yeah, it's funny because I was gonna put this in the Discord today. My afternoon actually got kind of busy at work. I actually had to do work today.
Oh, dude, I hate that happens.
God, hey, Jesse and Jan, if you're watching, no. No. Yeah, because like I'm trying to like finalize my Thanksgiving trip, Mike. I'm trying to figure that all out. Pretty close, and then it got me thinking about not so scary, but
Very Merry.
No, what's the thing? The Christmas party. Why can't I think of the name?
Very Merry.
Yeah, that's what you said. Yeah, Very Merry.
Or I was thinking the one over at the studios.
Yeah, because Thanksgiving. Oh yeah, because Thanksgiving week is always kind of interesting. They try not to do parties because it's so
it's too busy.
But normally that Sunday, I think after they traditionally have done a party. So I'm trying to like, well, do I come home Monday? And I was like, well, I'm just going to come home Tuesday because then that Sunday or Monday, they got to have a party one of those days. So.
Dude, you'll be there for a week or you'll be there for 10 days. Okay, so let's do this because it's good stuff for the show because we don't have a ton of questions.
And I might be trying to get the new cabins. So you can book those on point starting tomorrow.
Tomorrow, the 23rd. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm going to try to get one of those cabins, I think, because that seems like a cool Thanksgiving spot to be, I think.
That would be, yeah, those would be good.
I mean, I got Old Key West booked. So worst case scenario, I'm at Old Key West, but.
All right, let's do it.
Right.
Here we go.
You don't care. Yeah, we don't need to talk about my trip planning right now.
Well, no, we could talk about that, but let's record it if we're going to do
it. Yeah,
we're wasting our bullets.
About this 2 hours talking about my trip planning.
Stop, dude. We're wasting our bullets.
I know you're always like saying our best content is before we hit the button.
Even for the show, dude. I can't. I'm not even recording.
It's always our best stuff.
I haven't even tested the recording software. I'm just hoping it'll work. Let's see. Okay, so we're 2475. I'll know here in a second. There we go.
I like that sweatshirt. We're both wearing things that we own.
Yeah, dude. I was hoping we didn't dress the same way because we both have the same hat.
Shout out to Wade in the chat. Wade and Shelly, they got this for me. It was a nice gift after I finished my full this year.
Right.
I was really generous.
That was.
It's like my favorite thing.
And I got this hat when I was with you.
I just like this color because like they normally don't have this kind of color, I feel like, for Run Disney. And I tried it out in the expo. I was like, no, I won't get it. And then Shelly went and picked it up because they had that merchandise tent, like at the finish line, and she picked it up. Man, it was awesome.
It's crimson.
Whatever.
I busted out this hat. I haven't worn this hat in forever. I saw a picture the other day that was scrolling by on my frame, and I was like, I haven't worn that hat in forever. I love that hat. It was a good day.
All right, let's start the show. Let's start the show.
I was starting, then you started telling the story about. I hit record, then you started telling the story about.
I can't stop talking. I have a problem, and I just like to talk
because I don't do the countdown thing because I think like we're not that professional. So here we're gonna zip it. I'm gonna start. Here we go.
3, 2.
No, stop. Stop. Welcome to episode 2475 of the Be Our Guest Walt Disney World Trip Planning Podcast. I'm your host, Mike Rallman from BeOurGuestPodcast.com and one of the senior agents over at the Magic for Less Travel. Happy Wednesday to you. Thank you for joining us here on the show today. It's a midweek break, and we've got something just a little bit different for you today because the ladies are MIA. They are out of town, so it is a Mike and Scott takeover for your listener questions. We are going to have a good time today. Who knows where this show will go? We'll talk a little Walt Disney World, little Disneyland, and some cruise line coming your way today. We're going to have some fun. So thanks to everybody who's joining us on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Instagram. And maybe somebody's on Twitch. That's Scott's hangout where he watches all the poker players. I think. I don't know what that's all about. I think there's where they stream video games, all this. I mean, we're there. We'll be wherever you want to watch. We're going to be there, but we're going to have a good time over the next 40 minutes or so. So joining me today from up in East Lansing, Michigan, your friend of mine, hashtag Scotty G. What's up, Scott?
Happy Wednesday, Mike. Yeah, so no ladies today. So that we could get in trouble today, right? Like they kind of keep us in check a lot. So we'll need those people in the chat to like keep us on direction today. But it is no surprise to anyone. We record maybe like a day or two early. So the day of the recording, got to give a shout out to this wonderful earth that we lived on. Happy Earth Day. And it's Animal Kingdom's anniversary, one of the best theme parks in the world. So happy 26th anniversary, I think, for Animal Kingdom. I think last year was the 25th. So very cool. Always fun. Like I like to be there a lot on Earth Day. It just didn't happen this year, but always a good time at Animal Kingdom, especially on Earth Day.
And your daughter was quite the celebrity one year on the Disney Parks blog for Earth Day, correct?
She was. It was the 15th anniversary. It was kind of like when the Parks blog were like starting their thing, you know, like it was kind of new for them. And yeah, they saw her in this cute Pocahontas dress. We're just kind of walking by the Tree of Life, and they're like, "Hey, can we get a photo of her for our Parks blog?" Like I had to like sign something. That's what I mean. Like I feel like it was very new. Like I don't know if they really go in that detail anymore, but it was super cool. It was just a fun celebration, and I was there for the 20th. I missed last year's 25th celebration, but good news is I had someone on the ground be able to get me some of that awesome merchandise that I like. And then funny enough, when we were there for the podcast cruise, they still had all that merchandise there. but it's all good though, right? I mean, they're not going to just ship the merchandise, right? Like, you know, Disney, they do 2-year-long celebrations for things. You can probably still find 25th anniversary stuff there today.
I'm sure you can. Probably. I mean, they probably still have 50th hoodies. So.
Probably like those, like the Mizzou colored one. Yeah.
I have one up in the closet. Yeah. I still wear it occasionally. Okay. So let's hop in, answer some questions. We have some good ones. And you know what Earth Day means? Every year. That means it's time to start talking about Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party. That's kind of the trigger, right?
Yeah.
I mean, Earth Day, and that means it's time to get ready to talk about miniature Three Musketeers bars, the little Ghosts and Goblins, and Boo to You. That's exactly what it means.
Halloween's only 6 months and a week away, so we might as well start talking about it. Yeah.
Don't we have? I mean, over the past few years, didn't they do that halfway to Halloween kind of celebration? Disney does.
That's what they've done the last 2 years. You're absolutely right. And that's kind of how they announced what those dates are. So it's got to be coming, right, Mike?
Did that come was that like introduced during COVID? Like as kind of a way to keep people engaged? Is that something that happened during?
So it might have been like the year after. Like maybe. Yeah.
That was cool idea. Anyway, Disney in Zone over on Instagram, which we appreciate folks tuning in as we record live, and we're a little bit early today, which hey, early bird gets the worm. And talk about going early tonight. So happy Monday. She says, I know it's April, but Mickey's Not So Scary. When are we going to get more info? So the reason I put this on tape for you today is that when we do this, we make things happen. So you're welcome. The tickets are probably on sale by now. No, they're probably not on sale by now, but I bet you an announcement is imminent at this point. I would say that we're going to get a date for on sale tickets here in the next week. And of course, we know that usually what happens is resort guests will get a little bit of a jump on the general public, but the dates don't tend to sell out except for the first date, and that won't sell out immediately, and Halloween itself. And you still have a little bit of a buffer even on those two dates for a little while. You don't have to freak out about this. That's kind of my advice. It's probably not going to sell out immediately. You're going to have some time, but if you're going on the first date, because the social media influencers are going to try to snarf those all up. And then, of course, Halloween, people like to be there for the day. But other than that, you got a little bit of time. So, Scott,
and that doesn't mean those other ones are ever going to sell out because they will for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, like right off the gate, you're absolutely right. And yeah, I mean, looking into that crystal ball like we do here in the BR Guys podcast studios, like I feel like it is going to be within this week. It's just the halfway to Halloween thing we were just talking about seems to be a new trend for Walt Disney World. So yeah, I look forward to some dates. The pricing, Mike, we talk about not so scary. I think the pricing will be scary. Like have we gotten to the 200 price point for one of these tickets yet? If not, like we're really close, I think. But
I want to say we were right there for Halloween last year, because that's always going to be your most expensive ticket.
Exactly.
The Halloween, the party itself. Let me ask you, I mean, this is kind of the question we get every year. Do you prefer, if you're down there for both celebrations, you prefer Halloween party to Christmas party, or which party do you think is better for bang for the buck at same cost?
It's so hard because I love both. Both have a great parade. Both have a great fireworks show. Both have great entertainment value. But I will tell you, just in recent years, I've been into the Christmas party more for some reason. And I think because I just care more about Christmas. Christmas is my jam. You know, you're wrapping up the year. You got family together. You got all the songs, you know, and all that. And I think just going to the Christmas party, like in November, just like sparks my excitement for Christmas, basically. Where Halloween, like if I go in August or September, is that really sparking my interest for Halloween? Like it doesn't like hit as hard for me. You know what I mean? So both are fantastic, but I'm leaning towards Christmas. How about you, Mike?
It is an interesting thing because if you go, so here's what I think about it. Like for the Christmas party, you get most of the Christmas party stuff the week after Christmas. So say you have a trip that you're there during that week from Christmas to New Year's. Say you're there from like the 25th to the 30th, which is madhouse, but that's when we used to always go because we were teachers and that's when we were off school. And it's fine as long as you get up early and, you know, you just know it's going to be busy, but you rope drop and have strategies. They're going to have that Christmas parade during regular park hours that you paid for with the hard ticket. You don't get the cookies, you don't get the hot cocoa, but you can buy that stuff. You can supplement it. So you get that stuff. You get the parade that you pay for. You get some of those things included in your park day.
Yeah. They do the fireworks too, I want to say too.
They do the fireworks. Yeah, they do the fireworks show. So you don't get those like in the general public with the Boo to You parade. And you can't, there's no other way to get to the trick-or-treating. So I think that makes the Halloween party a little bit more unique and a little bit more like, you know, you have to pay to get that experience. And plus, I just think, you know, you walk away. I mean, not that you're trying to get $5 or £5 worth of candy and what it costs. Like you're trying to get your money back in candy. But I mean, cookies versus candy, you are getting kind of more value. And people tend to, like Catherine right now on YouTube is watching, the Boo to You parade is just revered. I think it's even more, I prefer the Christmas parade because I like the toy soldiers and I'm more of a Christmas guy myself, but people love like the grave diggers and all that stuff. So I think the Boo to You parade maybe has a slight edge, but you really can't go wrong with either.
Yeah, both are fantastic. I love attending both of them. And I just hate the fact that you asked me like which one to pick. I went Christmas because I think my mind is on Christmas because I'm going to be there this year for that time frame, and I won't for Halloween, unfortunately. But yeah, you can't go wrong with either. That's really the ultimate answer.
Well, real quick too, you're heading down for Thanksgiving, and so this comes out on Wednesday, and we're recording on Monday. So in this day in between on Tuesday, you're trying to get, hopefully, because you're DVC, trying to get a cabin at the 7-month mark. One of these new cabins, because you can buy the old ones on Facebook Marketplace, apparently, $50,000. Not that I have a trailer big enough to go down and swing one up.
Yeah.
But if you go down, I mean, that we were talking in the pre-show, like that's a pretty cool idea. I mean, Thanksgiving is a great time to just kind of do more resort time and hang out. And I mean, a cabin offers that. And you said you kind of have Old Key West as a backup, another great place to kind of just hang out and, not really focus on the theme parks quite as much over Thanksgiving and have some time in a villa or experience like that.
Yeah, I think so too. And like, I know there's a lot of, not controversy, but a lot of conversation, right, about those new cabins and how they're remodeled. And I'm in between on it. Like, I like how it's fresh and new. Like, it's got this new look design, but I kind of wish I had the old feel a little bit too, because it doesn't really spell out a cabin to me when you kind of look at it. Like, that's not my visual of a cabin. But I think they're going to be super nice. Is the thing. I think they're going to be really great. Research, right, Mike? We got to research it. We got to know. We got to see what these new cabins are about. Plus, it's the one resort we haven't stayed at. We haven't really stayed at Fort Wilderness proper before. So mark off that bucket list of staying at all the Walt Disney World resorts. So I think it's a win-win-win for us to stay there if we can get in, for sure.
I hope you do, because I'd like to hear it, because again, I'm not poo-pooing them. I do like aesthetically the older look, but again, everybody knows me over the 16 years of the show. I'm like a retro guy, and I like the 70s look. I'm not a big fan of change generally, and these are definitely a different look. I mean, they kind of look like something you'd find almost like in a I don't know, like a updated mobile, mobile home park around here, like an upscale mobile home park or something. But I know they're going to be like super nice on the inside. And you're going to go inside, you're going to be wow. Like if I went on a tour, I'd be like, whoa, this is probably nicer than my house on the inside. So you would like it. Now I guarantee. So I really want you to. The amenities will probably knock your socks off.
Right.
I want you to have that experience.
Yeah, I'm excited to do it. And it'd just be cool to hang out at the fort. Like we'd probably do hoop-de-doo. I mean, you have to do hoop-de-doo.
You're going to get a golf cart, right? You have to get a golf cart.
Yeah, so that's funny. We'll talk about this on Friday's episode, how we went to hoop-de-doo, and we're talking about this trip and how we might want to look at this option. And we both looked at each other like, we have to get a golf cart. I feel like it's against the law. If you don't
get a golf cart, dude, I'm not even talking.
Yeah,
gotta get.
But that's a pool. It's kind of like for research in a way, though, Mike. As funny as that sounds, because if someone asked me a question about the pool at Fort Wilderness, I got nothing. I can't talk about that. But we go there, we do some research, we can come back and share some feedback for the show, because I saw the pool driving by in the bus. I know nothing about it, but it looked really awesome. Have you really explored that area outside of looking at the lights, on the trailers and stuff like that? Because I haven't personally.
I mean, I'll be honest, I've never stayed there because my wife will not stay there. And the reason is, and I've wanted to stay at the cabins, but she says she will not stay at a place that doesn't have a food court. And because she's not,
got that awesome Trails End counter service.
I know, but she says she's kind of a resort snob.
I get it.
And she says she works too hard all year to not get what she wants when she goes on her vacation for the year. So I'm like, that's cool.
That's fair.
I mean, but because she doesn't. We used to go camping every once in a while around here. We do what we call float trips, where they drop us off in an old school bus. We'd float 10 miles down the river to our campsite and camp for the night. Because when we were way younger and slept on the ground, we don't do that anymore either. But yeah, I mean, I've spent. We used to stay at Wilderness Lodge. That was our compromise, and that worked out for her. So every morning I get up super early and run that path over to Fort Wilderness, and I get my miles in running all the loops over in Fort Wilderness, and I loved it over there. It's so cool. It's just awesome. And I would love to stay there because it's like Old Key West. It's like its own little community. It's self-contained. Yeah, it's got everything you need right there. It's almost like people live there, only kind of very rustic.
It feels like that for sure. Yeah. From what I've seen too.
Yeah.
And that, I'm not an outdoorsy camping kind of person, but I'm just intrigued by it. It's just the beauty of Walt Disney World that they cater to these people that loved camping, and I have coworkers that camp in Michigan all the time because there's so many great campsites. And I tell them you should venture out and go to Walt Disney World. It'd be a really cool thing to say. I think I would personally think if I was a camper that hey, I camped at Walt Disney World. I just think it's neat. And so many people do it too. It's so cool.
Yeah, I'd like to get your thought on that because you're not, because you're not like the big, camper guy, and we'll get your perspective on it. Okay, so we got Simon with a question. By the way, Simon was our guest on Monday's show, and we've gotten so much positive feedback from Simon. Was awesome, but let me just tell you, Sully, his son, is getting all the love. I'm just saying, Sully is like a rock star of rock stars. So shout out Sully over in the UK. He conquered Cosmic Rewind after doing Mickey's List. I think they found the shoe. I'm pretty sure they found them. I don't even know if they found the magic band, but they got a card, and it was an awesome show. So thanks to Simon. He stayed up super late to record that show. Thanks for all the kind words about the podcast. But Simon says, so we're planning.
Simon says,
so good.
I was going to try to drop that in there, but you did it unnaturally. It was awesome. Actually, naturally.
I just caught myself. Take 2 steps back. See, I used to teach elementary school, man. That was so good.
That was funny.
That was funny. Oh, good one again. Here we go. We're planning our trip for 2025. So we loved Pop last time, as you know, but for our next trip, we might stay at Art of Animation, bump it up a little bit, or Caribbean Beach, or should we stick with Pop? This is kind of that question, right? They had a great, again, they stayed. I don't think you got a chance to catch the show yet because we just came out and we're recording, but they stayed over 2 weeks at Pop. So this is not a
long trip,
not
holiday.
They're from the UK, right? This is a fortnight. This is a holiday. It's a holiday. They're British. Okay, so this is a commitment. This is where I think maybe a split stay would come in, but they have these long packages with all these great incentives. So maybe you don't want to bust this up because sometimes that can mess up your package where you don't get all the incentives for the length of the trip. So let's just say one package, one stay at one place. Would you stick with Pop Century? And they were talking, they really do like Pop Century. We kind of raved about it in the show. Maybe go over to Art of Animation because similar amenities, very comfortable feel, Hourglass Lake, same type rooms. Do you bump up to Caribbean Beach, pay a little bit extra? What do you say to Simon in this?
That's tough. I will tell you, unless there's like some tie with the family to some of those areas at Art of Animation, like the Lion King and Cars, or Little Mermaid, I would rule that one out. Because it's going to feel very similar to Pop. And like, personally, I just think Pop is better. The rooms that aren't in animation, like unless they're looking for like a suite type room, if they're looking at the Little Mermaid rooms, like that would be a no for me. I think you'd enjoy your time better at Pop. But I said bump it up a little, try Caribbean Beach. That's where my family's first visit was. We just spent some time over there over New Year's. Like, I love Caribbean Beach. I love the feel and look at that resort. And you still have the Skyliner. It sounds like the Skyliner is very important to Simon and his family because that's the area that they're looking at. But I don't know, Mike. I think get a different feel. Try Caribbean Beach. You can still Skyline over the Pop if you want to go to the food court and see some of the sights over there. But I'm 100% in on Caribbean Beach here.
I'm 100% with you. Go Caribbean Beach, get a new experience. You're on the Skyliner. You can go back to Pop Century, tour it, have dinner there a couple nights, walk around. I mean, get, like, oh yeah, we missed, going to everything Pop. Go there, make some more memories there. But it's fun to have new experiences, and there's new updated rooms at Caribbean Beach. You're going to have, a food court that's a little bit more expansive. The kids will enjoy because your kids are the right age. You got a slide. That pirate pool is amazing. You'll have, quiet pool. You'll have a quiet pool right outside of your building, whether you're in Aruba, Jamaica, Martinique, wherever you are. And it's just you can
check out the Riviera too. You can go to Primo Piatto over there too. Like, they have some great options for you to explore.
And when you're going to the parks, one less hop on the Skyliner. You have that one less stop. You don't have to jump in the secondary line.
You are the hub, which is huge. That's a huge benefit for real. So
yep. Lisa says, I think Caribbean Beach's ambiance would be cool for somebody not from the US. Because again, I was talking to Simon. He says it is true. It rains there a ton. So you know what I'm saying? Little, palm trees and sunny skies.
And I think Simon is a runner. I want to say, like, I saw him on his Instagram. Like, he just did a half marathon or something. So congratulations to him. I think that's who I saw that posted that. And I know you got a great running track, Hourglass Lake. I love running that loop. But I love running Caribbean Beach too. So many like cool areas you can see the Riviera and all that. So I think that's the one, Mike. I think we settled it.
Caribbean Beach. It's the poor man's Polynesian. No, just kidding. It's not. That's what I say.
I will say, like, I would love to see some room. I would love to see some room refurbishments at Caribbean Beach. So I'm not going to give it like, I mean, I got to be critical a little bit here. And like those rooms do need refurbished.
A lot of them though.
Those Little Mermaid ones. Yeah. Or the ones like where the old pirate rooms are really nice. Yes. But
they're bringing those around now.
Yeah. And so hopefully by 2025, maybe when he goes there or there could be construction maybe while they're working on it. Who knows? I mean, it's hard to know like what's going to happen next year for Walt Disney World, but just kind of be aware of that. And if they do have the new rooms, and that's even more jackpot right there just to stay there.
Yeah, they're refurbing all the rooms, so they're getting there. Okay, so we got a question from JT in Nashville. He says, we're going on a cruise the week of Halloween. I've not been on a cruise since I was 8, and we're super excited to go on the Wish. That being said, I'm also running the Wine and Dine Half Marathon 3 days after the cruise ends. I wanted to know if you have any tips for training on a cruise the week before the half. Here's the deal. I was thinking, because I read this one earlier today. One thing is, so the Wish is, I hate to say this, but the Wish is the worst cruise ship of the fleet to train for running because, and this drove me nuts, it's the only ship in the fleet right now that doesn't have the track that goes all the way around because it's got like steps where you got to go up and down. Like the track doesn't go continuously around. The other 4 ships, you can go all the way around on one of the decks. It's got a running or walking path. That drove me crazy on the podcast cruise, but I solved it because there's a great gym that opens at 6 a.m. You can go up and get on the treadmills. If you're a treadmill person, problem solved. That's what I did. But here's the other thing. You said that you're running your half marathon 3 days after the cruise ends. Here's my saying. The hay's in the barn at that point. You're good. If you've been training, you're going to be good for the half marathon. Basically, even if you don't run or do a long run right before you get on the ship, if it's a 4-day cruise, the best thing you can do is probably just do some walking during the cruise and walk do some light runs, short runs on the treadmill, nothing long, and just walk the path and just walk up and down those stairs on the Wish, on the walking path, and enjoy it and save your legs. And you know what? The running gods are going to thank you, and you're going to be faster when you run that half marathon because you're going to have saved your legs unintentionally. That's what I say as somebody that runs. But Scott, any thoughts, JT?
We're like the same person today with all these answers. Yeah, I was just gonna say the same thing about the running track and the treadmill, and but yeah, you're good at that point. I mean, people taper 2 to 3 weeks before like the big race, so I would just say with a cruise, I just like when Jimmy, the cruise director on the Dream back in the day, used to say, "You see it, you eat it."
Yeah. So, that was a Royal cruise I did, but that wasn't Disney cruise.
Yeah,
eat it.
You see it, you eat it. So just be kind of cautious of that. You don't want to go too crazy, but I definitely want you to enjoy the cruise, JT, because you got to take advantage of all those awesome options on the cruise line. So just don't overdo it a little bit. But like Mike said, get a little jog on the treadmill, a little walking. You can walk on the ship too, for sure. And if you're on the Wish, you're probably going to Castaway, I'm guessing. So you can do the Castaway 5K, or if you wanted to go longer, you can do that loop through the jungle, as we like to call it, 3 or 4 times if you want to. It's just going to be super hot, but you can stretch out the legs a little bit at Castaway too, I'd say.
He's going in October. I mean, we run that sucker in July. We are insane. How many times have we run that 5K on Castaway Key in July?
I mean, well, we've done a lot of double dips in July. So yeah, we've done it a lot.
We did it 2 days in a row.
Yeah.
We're insane.
So at least a half dozen times we've done it in July. Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah. So October will be a little bit better.
It'll be hot, but it won't be hotter in July.
And you'll have the water stops there too. So it's actually kind of nice. You can stop for water. It'll be a pretty good training run, I think. If you're just going to be running in a lot of loops and on that tarmac too. Or
what? It's going to get you totally ready for the Wine and Dine half marathon because it's going to be almost exactly the same conditions. I mean, except it'll be earlier for the Wine and Dine because it'll be dark. No. Yeah. I was thinking it was a night race. I'm old.
I wish it was a night race.
I'm so old. I remember when the Wine and Dine was at night. Oh my!
That's gonna be an awesome trip though. You do the cruise, you do the Run Disney race, and then you finish it off with assuming that you're gonna go to the Epcot party after the half marathon. That's gonna be a really fun week.
Man, living life.
Jealous.
JT in Nashville, you got it going on. All right, Lynn out in Maryland, the Sparty logo says, I've seen news that 2 tours are returning to Disneyland. Yes, we posted about that over in the clubhouse, over in the Disneyland channel. The Cultivating the Magic Tour and the Disneyland Railroad Guided Tour. They'll be available when we visit Disneyland in June. Do you have any experience with either of these tours? What are your thoughts? I've not done either of these tours. Scott, you're nodding your head. You have not.
I've not done a Disneyland tour. I've only done like a couple tours because a lot of the tours need, and we'll talk about this on Friday actually. There's like age restrictions, like you got to be like 16 or older. So with my daughter turning 16 last year, we're starting to dip into the tours a little bit, but we have not done those. Both sound great. What was it, like the train one? I think was the one that kind of interested me. The Disneyland Railroad guided tour sounds really interesting to me.
So I have done most of the tours at Walt Disney World. Now I've not done them at Disneyland because again, I've only gone since 22, but I will tell you, I have done it was called the Behind the Steam Trains tour at the Magic Kingdom. That was a great tour. And I'm sure it's basically the same tour out at Disneyland. It was super cool because you got to get up close and like with the locomotives, you got to go back into the roundhouse at the Magic Kingdom where they store the monorails. And they took you back behind the Magic Kingdom because there's like a switchback kind of back behind Tomorrowland, and you got to ride. They took you to ride the train like how they do in the morning, and they show you actually this part of the track where it takes you off. There's a switchback there that takes you away from the Magic Kingdom back to the roundhouse, and what you see on the sides of the tracks are all these shells from the night before from the fireworks shows where they land. All these like there's like they almost look like corn, like coconut husks. And I was like, what is that? Because of the shells from last night's wishes or whatever it was back in the day. And
I just hope Mickey didn't hit that track switch back there.
Oh yeah, seriously, it was about to be. That was way before Mickey's Runaway Railroad, but it was cool. But it was well worth it. And I've done like Marceline to the Magic Kingdom, Behind the Keys, and this was one of my favorites. And they give you a little trinket, just like you get with Keys to the Kingdom, you get trinket. But it's a super cool tour if you want, and they give you a lot of Walt history because of the history of the trains. But it's cool because you get to get up inside a locomotive and get a picture. I mean, you don't get to like.
See, I'd like to see these coming back to Walt Disney World because there's very few tours that are available right now at Walt Disney World, and I'd love to see that come back. That'd be awesome.
Yeah, because the engineers are there, right? And they're kind of pointing stuff out. And I mean, some of these engineers have been there forever. Yeah. And Len says, according to the description, you get to ride in Walt's private car as part of the Disneyland tour. Yeah, I mean, when you get to do that kind of stuff, absolutely. If you can get in there, do it. I mean, these are the kind of exclusive things as a Disney fan. When you get the opportunity, take it. Especially at Disneyland. This is even better than at World because this is where it all started. You know what I'm saying? Like this is the what I got to do, but better, so I would totally go for it.
And I don't necessarily want to go down this rabbit hole, but like Disneyland's getting these two tours coming back. Like it seems like Disneyland is getting a lot more stuff than World lately. I don't know if you've like noticed that. And a lot of it is like with the popcorn buckets and like some merchandise and stuff like that. But I feel like Disneyland is getting a whole lot of love lately. Just something I've observed. I don't know if you've seen the same thing, Mike, or not.
Maybe. I mean, Disneyland is, again, it's two parks. It's more dense. So maybe we're just seeing it more spread out over things at World. I mean, because you got Keys to the Kingdom going on. You got the tours at Animal Kingdom that have, been going on.
I mean, I'm just not talking about tours either. I'm just talking about like in general, a lot of new stuff lately. It seems like it's for Disneyland, but
yeah. Yeah, we'll see. That's good. Give us some feedback. I mean, maybe I haven't noticed it. But I will be watching now. That's a good point. All right, we have a question.
I'll point it out to you on Discord when I see him.
Yeah, definitely. All right, we got a question. 40th birthday at Princess. Hey, BOGP crew. I'll be celebrating my 40th birthday next year at Disney's Princess Weekend during the doing the Fairy Tale Challenge and staying a few days after that since I haven't done Disney World for a non-running weekend for a while. I'm turning 40 in January, and after the last couple of years where I haven't really done anything besides work, I want to truly celebrate. I'm looking for things I haven't done yet, and here's the challenge. I'm going to Walt Disney World since 1995 when I was 10. I was even there for a trip with the birthday cake castle. My parents are former DVC members, and we would go frequently to Walt Disney World when I was in high school and college. I did Keys to the Kingdom when I was 15. And I've been looking at other behind the scenes stuff like the elephant tour and the rhinos tour at the Animal Kingdom. Are there other things I should look at? Thanks, Leslie. So what do you think for Leslie? She's going for a 40th birthday party, but we're
talking about those tours. I think one tour I think is great is the behind the scenes tour. If you love Living with the Land or like old retro like Epcot, I think that's a it's really affordable too. I don't want to be wrong here, but I think it's like $40 or something, maybe. Like,
Man,
maybe not even that.
I can't believe it's even $40.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It might not even be that much. But I think it's a great tour. So I think if you're talking for touring stuff, like that's a great one because it's classic Epcot. And if you've been going since 1995, you've definitely seen Living with the Land. So I think that would be a great tour to do for your birthday. And Mike's some obvious ones is you got to have a big birthday meal celebration, somewhere like super nice, maybe with some fireworks. I'm thinking like a Narcoossee's or a California Grill, just a great way to celebrate the Fairy Tale Challenge and turning 40 years old, having this great big celebration. I just love doing something huge. Maybe even like a dessert party at Magic Kingdom too could be a nice alternative as well.
Yeah, I was thinking dessert party if you're like, because I don't know if she's solo or going with friends. If she's solo, a dessert party is a great solo celebration because you can do that easily. If you are having friends, family joining you, a fireworks cruise, book that early, as soon as you can. Fireworks cruises are fun because you've seen these fireworks shows many, many times. You're a huge Disney fan. You've grown up at this place, DVC family, so forth, but it's a different perspective. You're seeing it out on the water. You have this VIP feel to it. People are like, who's that on that pontoon boat? And that's a cool experience. So and that's something you pair with a meal. Like if you're doing it for the Magic Kingdom fireworks show, Narcoossee's, or if you're an Ohana fan, go to the Polynesian. It doesn't have to be like super fancy. Just pick your favorite meal, Kona, or maybe Steakhouse 71, or whatever, your California Grill, or if you're going to do it for over at Epcot, pair it with whatever. You got a bajillion choices over there, Boardwalk, Yacht Club, Beach Club, anything in Epcot.
Yeah.
And
I'd say do something cool for the race too, like a cool outfit that like showcases like your birthday. Cause like I know like Carissa, Pelkey, Riley, all of them will like just like eat that up if they see you like with this cool like birthday celebration outfit. You'll get a lot of attention from the race announcers, from spectators, from people running the race too. So I think that'd be kind of cool too. Like I'm celebrating my 40th birthday kind of shirt or something to that effect while you're doing the race too.
How about Pelkey having his own running team all of a sudden?
Dude, I got to get in on that. Like, and shout out to John Pelkey. I don't know if he listens to the BRGS podcast. That'd be awesome if he did, right, Mike?
Awesome. Yeah.
But shout out to him on his 10K. He crushed it, man.
Dude, I saw the finish line, man. He was scooting.
He was moving along. It was still dark too, so you know he got done early. It was still dark outside.
Yeah, well, that's a good point. Yeah, that's a good point. When it's dark at the end of a 10K, you were motivating and moving.
I've only done that once or twice, and that's usually wine and dine because it's like it gets darker. I mean, it doesn't get as light as early during wine and dine.
Is he? I mean, think about it. I mean, we love to see that, right? I mean, how many times has he pushed us through his motivational talks, before races, and he gets us in, down the chute many times. He's over at the finish line. And now to see him, he always joked about he was never going to do it. And it was a 5K, now it's 10K. All right, 26-2. Let's go. As
crazy as it sounds, if I would have known that, I would have actually flown down and like cheered for that. That would have been like kind of cool to be cheering.
I was excited.
As you said, he's done so much for us on the 100%. Other side.
Yeah, I got to rock one of those hats. I need to get one of the hats and be a part of his crew because I'm proud of him. The same, just like you said. It's super inspirational. That's what I love about the whole, like, this whole community that we have with not just the runners, but kind of all the people who listen to podcasts and this whole like kind of online community. This like little subculture of Disney fans that we're in. Yeah, it's fun.
Super cool.
All right, Chris Young is in Spring Grove, Pennsylvania, and he says, listener question / character meet. Hey, Mike and BOGP crew, love the show with all the tips, insight, and off the rails conversation. I just listened to the show about character meals as well as the call-in show from April 7th, where it was discussed again. I want to relay some fun experiences we had on our trip in February of 2020. My son, who was 6, while we were there, was super excited to meet Tigger. We met him 3 times during this trip, and while we were checking in at Art of Animation on our arrival day, who strolls into the lobby? Tigger. He was so excited, and that's still a great memory of our trip. Also at Hollywood Studios, we had just finished meeting Edna Mode back in the courtyard area, and Mr. and Mrs. Incredible were just walking around meeting guests with a bit of crowd around them. Our son and 8-year-old daughter were a combination of shy and polite, and were not even getting close. Mrs. Incredible noticed this and walked over to them and took their hands and just walked up and down Municiberg Plaza for several minutes. It was awesome. We love the Incredibles. We're going in early October this year and decided to stay at the Contemporary, influenced by the Incredibles theming.
Wow, look at that. Talk about some influence there. I love it.
Edna Mode said, come on, baby. Come on, darling. Stay at my place. Now, my question. We chose the Contemporary for the deluxe extended hours, the proximity to the Magic Kingdom. If we want to rope drop the Magic Kingdom and the park opens at 9 with early entry at 8:30, what time do they actually let guests into the park? And what is a good time frame to be in line for that? Same question for Epcot with the monorail. Thanks for all you guys do for the Disney community. Chris in Pennsylvania. Scott, good question for you because you've stayed at the Contemporary even during a busy time of the year, I believe Thanksgiving
time, yeah. So the question was, I love that story, by the way, the Tigger thing. That was so great. The spending the time, like several minutes with your kids, like that was so cool. So I loved hearing that. So the example was Magic Kingdom opens at 9, 8:30 for deluxe guests.
No, it's just early entry. Well, yeah. Well, that's early entry.
Early, not deluxe. Yeah, I was thinking the after hours is deluxe. Yeah, for early entry. Yeah, for all resort guests, 8:30. I would say at least a half hour. Like I would kind of go there around 8 o'clock or be there.
Same
by security, especially at the Magic Kingdom, you can just walk there, which is so nice. So I'd say 8 o'clock is a good time because they do start letting people get in early to start lining up. They'll even let like guests that aren't staying on site in too as well, because there's a private little section off to the side for resort guests where they have to scan their band or their media to get in. So I think 8 o'clock is good. So like 30 minutes before the early entry starts or an hour before park opening is what I would say.
What I would say is leave your room an hour before. So
especially at Magic Kingdom, because you don't have to wait for a bus or anything like that. You know,
like if you're walking over with your family and it's early entry at 8:30, I'd be walking out of your room at 7:30 if you really want to be ahead of everybody. Because like Scott said, they let you into the park way early, but they're going to hold you like you can be like pointed towards Tomorrowland or towards Fantasyland, and they kind of queue you up there, and then they start scanning bands right at 8:30, put you in. So yeah,
and then sometimes you'll get scanned in. They'll scan a little early too, so that's why it's good to be in there earlier. Because then, say you're going to Space Mountain, then they'll still hold you at Space Mountain because it hasn't officially opened yet. Same for all the other parks too. Like I've done that at Epcot where they let us in early, then they scanned our bands early, and then we just waited out at Test Track for like 10 minutes before it opened officially. So earlier is better in this case, and it's fun waiting in the theme park. It's so much better than waiting in the hub than it is like at the turnstiles for sure.
What about for Epcot though? Catching the monorail over. Say Epcot opens at 8:30 for resort guests, 9 o'clock normal general public opening. Yeah. Like you got to take the ride over. What would you do there?
I mean, because you were saying get out of your room like at 7:30, an hour before the entry. Yeah, or like 7:15. I mean,
yeah, 7:15.
Because at the Contemporary, you're one stop to the TTC, and then you just got to transfer over. So it's really not that bad, honestly. So I'd say about 7:15, 7:30.
All right. Well, let's see here. Lisa's got a little feedback because she just got back last week. They let us into Seven Dwarfs at 8, but didn't let us ride until 8:30.
Okay, so they might let you in even a little earlier than that 8 o'clock we were talking about. Yeah.
Good feedback because she just got back last week. She's down in Mobile.
But it's so nice when you're at the Contemporary.
Oh, no kidding. Because it takes transfer, because that's the biggest wild card, right? Say you're Pop Century, you're going to the Magic Kingdom. I mean, it's a crapshoot. You could be on the bus could be waiting for you. You could walk onto a bus and boom, you're going to be on that 20-minute bus ride, or you could be waiting 30 minutes for the bus.
We're going to talk about this on Friday's episode.
It's a crapshoot. I mean, but with the Contemporary, like your feet don't fail me now, right? Just boom, you're there. No question. All right. Awesome. That's going to do it for listener questions. You have questions, drop them to me in the inbox, mike@beourguestpodcast.com. We'll get to those next week. We love your listener questions, or just join us on Mondays around 5:30 Eastern, all the places, and just drop them in the chat. We'll get right to them. Don't forget, we have our clubhouse. We talk 24/7, 365 Disney all the time in between shows. Scott's always there. I'm there. Ricky drops in. Pam comes in occasionally as well. But you can talk with all of our listeners. It's so much fun. So just come on over to beourguestpodcast.com/Discord and get in on the conversation. We have a great time over there. All of our shows brought to you by the Magic for Less Travel. We'd love to help you plan your next Disney vacation for no additional cost to you, with lots of little booking bonuses as well. Onboard credits for Disney cruises. Just check out all the details right now over at themagicforless.com. Please also use our Amazon affiliate link when you shop online. That supports the show every day, all year. Just it's beourguestpodcast.com/Amazon. And thank you so much for your support on Patreon. Our patrons are awesome. You're all stars. Thank you so much for that support. You can support us just $5 a month. That really does help us out. And when you do that, you get our bonus show every week. It's called Mike in the Midwest. So coming over this week, we'd love to have you. Patreon.com/Be Our Guest Podcast. Give this guy a follow on the social media at Epscott, EPSCOT. I'm at Be Our Guest Mike. That's Twitter, Instagram, Threads. We'd love to talk to you on the social media, and we'll be together again this Sunday night, and you'll be with us, giving us your calls. We hope, man. We had so many calls last week. We had so many people tuned in live. We just want to blow it away again this Sunday night. It's going to be so much more fun. Come on over. We'll be on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, Twitch, everywhere. Give us a call, 7 o'clock Eastern, 6 o'clock Central this Sunday night. It's the BOGP open line, or as we like to call it, you, me, and Scotty G. So give us a call. All right, we're going to be back again on Friday, where Scott tells us all about spring break at Coronado Springs. Ready to rock with that one. And I can't wait for all the tips. All right, so until we get back together again, you guys have a great Wednesday. Stay safe, stay healthy, and we'll see you real soon.
Nice.
So I'm getting like a little feedback at the end of that, like halfway
from me.
I could hear myself. Like,
weird.
I could hear your headphones or something.
Oh, that's weird.
Like, it wasn't really feedback. It was more I could hear like me talking.
That's weird because my headphones are on. Huh.
Hang on. Let me save this real quick. It wasn't bad.
That's weird
I
though.
could hear myself, and it was kind of confusing me.
Yeah. Oh God, that would drive me nuts.
Episode 245. 247. Like, I don't think we'll hear it when I put the music on top.
I wonder why I did that though.
It only started like halfway. Len, I'd totally do that tour though, that train tour, if you're still here.
I mean, both really good.
Yeah. Close all. Test. Yeah, I don't hear it now.
Weird.
Test. Yeah, it was like, I mean, I think it was me. Yeah, I don't hear it now. Okay, good. What's going on with that? Do. I need a new soda. Let me grab one real quick.
Man, like there's no way I can compete with Simon and Sully though, based on what I'm hearing. So this is gonna feel boring for everyone.
It'll be fine. We'll be Alvin and Theodore.
There we go.
Simon.
There we go. I love it. Or what's the who's the guy? Dave, right? Dave.
Yeah, Dave.
Yeah.
He's the Wrangler.
Mm-hmm.
Back in the day. How weird was he that he lived with 3 chipmunks?
Hey, I was playing cards and a chipmunk was trying to cheat around this trip.
That's true. Yeah, that's a story. That picture's epic. Okay, don't talk. Here we go. We're starting. Here we go. 2477. Welcome to episode 2477 of the Be Our Guest Walt Disney World Trip Planning Podcast. I'm your host, Mike Rallman from BeOurGuestPodcast.com and one of the senior agents over at the Magic for Less Travel. Happy Friday to you. Hope you're having a great week, and we're wrapping it up. It is Fajita Friday. We're going to have that kind of Southwest feel on today's show because we're hopping in right away. It's been a Mike and Scott week all week, and we're keeping it going right here because Scott is going to be the star of the show. We had Simon with the trip report on Monday. We got Scott doing a trip report here on a Friday. We're headed to Coronado Springs. We're talking spring break. Your friend and mine, hashtag Scotty G, kicking it here, wrapping the week up. Scott, what's going on?
Happy Friday, Mike. Happy to be here. Happy to talk about Coronado Springs, a place that you and I have been to frequently and a place that we really love. So happy to spend some time spending 30, 40 minutes, whatever it is, talking about a great trip that we had over spring break.
So let me just drop some mental pictures. Just now, this is the worst thing to ever do on a podcast, right? Because it's going to be like things that'll crack you and I up. But if you know, right? So we've had lots of fun times at Maya Grill with margarita flights and fajitas many times.
Yeah.
There was a Star Wars weekend where we all crashed in a room, and dude, not enough beds. And I had a friend that I used to teach across the hall from, and I was like, dude, I'm not sharing a bed with you. So you ended up sharing a bed with one of my friends that I used to teach school with. You did.
I mean, he did offer to sleep in his truck or something.
It's true. I rented a white pickup because I came by on my Instagram stories the other day. Memories I Googled the other day, and I was like, "What's that white pickup?" I was like, "Oh yeah, I rented a white pickup that weekend." I mean, had a bed, and it was nice out that night. And by the way, we didn't get out because we had to divide our check. And by the way, here's if you know, Maya Grill is the worst restaurant. Now I love Maya Grill. It's in my top 3 for Walt Disney World. I love this place. However, this has to be on God's earth the worst place to ever divide a check between parties. Like if you go there with your friends and you say, we're going to split this check between 4 different groups, like 4 cards. You are going to be there for another 2 hours. Because that night it was Star Wars race. I swear it took 2 hours off our sleep that night. Raising
and that was when they changed the time for the Run Disney start. I mean, that one was starting like 2 hours after we were done. We had to wake up.
I was like, forget it. I'm just staying up. Like at that point, because we had to divide car, but it was.
I always had a theory on that too, because I mean, it is true. I mean, Walt Disney World in general is kind of challenging to split checks. I've learned, but especially at Maya Grill, and I wonder if it's because of the conventioners, if they're used to like someone like just one person from their company just saying
the company
this one. Yeah.
I should have charged to the Magic for less. I mean,
Pam's
not here
we'll talk to Pam about that. Yeah.
She's not here. I should have put on the TMFLT tab. But if we only had that, that'd be nice. I've never seen the corporate card come out, but it'd be nice if we had one.
You got the guy from the Midwest card though, so you could use that.
I do. See, I'll tell Pam I'll use my old man in the Midwest card and get the 10% off, and then get the old Magic for Less Platinum going.
So if you're not feeling at the fajitas tonight, they might bring out your Taco Bell order instead. You never know.
Yeah, Pam be more like Taco Bell, maybe, if you're ordering off the value menu. Anyway, Coronado, though, we love this place. I'm excited to hear about your trip. So you were down, it's been about a month at this point. So let's hear.
Yeah, it was actually a month from the day of recording. It was May 22nd that we flew down. We talked, a lot of this I've already shared, so I'll try not to repeat a lot of stuff. But we flew out of Indianapolis mostly to just save some big bucks. It was either going to be fly out of Indianapolis or drive. And I know you've done the drive from St. Louis for many years before you started flying. We have not done that drive. And I feel like it would be fun to drive down, right? You can stop. You're like excited. You got this great energy about this vacation that's coming up. But it's the drive home that I kept thinking about that. Like, that's just going to be so brutal. And I'm not going to want to do that.
Well, so I was saving this because I knew we'd talk about this on the show. You were saving money by flying out of Indianapolis because your theory on this was that the places you were looking to fly out of initially, they were all spring break times, and so they were jacking up the prices. But you think that in Indianapolis it was not spring break that week, so the prices were more reasonable. So you're saving a lot of money. So well laid plans for saving this money. You thought not bad to take this drive. Right. So now looking back in hindsight, is it something you would do again to drive 3 hours or so each way to save what you saved? Was it worth it?
It 100% was worth it. Yep. It totally was. And for us, like Detroit is still like an hour and a half away from us, and Indy was 4 hours. So it was 2.5 hours each way. So call it 5 extra hours. And if you break it down, like, I wasn't going to break down the math by any means, but like it was a significant value. One ticket out of Detroit basically covered the 3 that were flying out of Indianapolis. Wow. It was a massive savings. And like, we like driving, we like road tripping. I will say, the drive to Indy for us is super easy. It's just the freeway right next to my house is 69, and you take 69 all the way to the airport, basically. So we don't even have to like get off a freeway. Like, it's the same one. And so, it can get kind of boring a little bit, but like again, like we were in good spirits. So like driving those 4 hours were way better than driving 16, 17, 18 hours, so we found it worth it. And it's cool to check out other airports. I love airports. So it's fun to check that out. Yeah. NCAA men's basketball tournament was happening that day, and like Purdue was playing, so there are a lot of like Purdue fans in the airport. It was just kind of cool, like watching all that.
Do you have Emily drive some of the way?
We thought about it.
I was gonna say, because now we have extra drivers, right?
Yeah, exactly. I thought about having her drive, but she just wanted to chill.
Yeah,
the way she put it. I just want to chill.
That's why I want her to drive, so I can chill.
But so about this, so this is really funny. I won't get into too much detail, but that at work that day, I had to do this like aviation like thing where there was like an aviation accident, and we had to figure out like how we were going to recover as a company. And I'm like, oh, that's great. And now I'm going to go like fly on a plane later tonight.
Are you kidding me?
I'm not kidding you. Yeah. Oh so that was like, I'm on the plane and I'm just like looking over everything. I'm asking like the flight attendant, like all these questions about like the scenario we just had. It was just kind of funny.
I'm like, I can't do this. I got phone sick.
Yeah. So I worked that day. Liz and I both worked. That tells you how late the flight was because we had a 4-hour drive and we worked. So we landed like well past midnight. I remember I took a photo right at midnight as we were like kind of hovering over Orlando. So, and the logistics, right? You got to get on the monorail, got to get your bags, get the rental car. It takes a little bit. And this is midnight. I mean, I know it was spring break, but Mike, the airport, you would have thought it was like 2 p.m. It was packed. It was unbelievable how busy it was.
I mean, were you expecting a dead airport?
I was expecting a dead airport because I've done it a couple times where I've flown in late. They must not have been spring break because like I was blown away. I was like worrying, like, oh my gosh, are we even going to get a rental car at this point? But the rental car was super easy to get. And it was like 1 a.m. basically when we pulled into Coronado, and I hadn't gotten a text yet about our room, which is kind of funny.
At that time of night, that would worry me. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Because I know Disney has people checking in 24 hours a day, right? It's Walt Disney World, like world destination. But I would still, as being somebody from the Midwest, like I'd be like, dude, do they know still I'm coming? You know, do you think I've skipped out?
Exactly. But I wanted to talk to the front desk anyway, because this stay had us on 2 different reservations, same room category, same resort. But I just wanted to like stay in the same room. And I called them ahead of time too and asked them, like, can you do whatever it takes? You know, we're coming in late, so take all the time you need all day, right, to figure it out. But if we can stay in the same room. Went to the front desk. They were super cool about it. I also asked to be in casitas because I've been in ranchos a lot, and I love ranchos at Coronado. They had the ranchos. There's cabanas, right, and casitas, and then you got the main tower. And they put me in casitas 4, which is exactly what I want, Mike. So it was awesome. So we got to keep the same room for both reservations. Casitas 4. I mean, the trip is just starting off so great. We get to the room. It's on the first floor. It's a corner room, and it's right by the Casitas quiet pool. Like, it's a pool view room. I was 32 steps from the pool entrance, Mike, from our door.
Yeah, you were, because again, we talked about this earlier, but I'm by my friends. I was like, dude, you're in the same room I was in, like for the trip.
Like right by like the fitness center right there.
Yeah, close. Yeah, it's a great location. I was like, okay, so you get there middle of the night. So I'm sure that like to kick off your trip, you don't go hard immediately, right? Because you got to recover. I mean,
we didn't go hard
and traveled. I mean, that's a long day just to get there.
So we actually did unpack that night because we're unpackers. So we knew we had this room. So and you did all that traveling. So we clean up, we unpack. Probably didn't go to bed till like 1, probably more like 2 o'clock, honestly, because like 1 o'clock when we checked in. So we didn't have like any really big plans that day. Especially in the morning, except going to Sanaa for lunch. That was our big thing. Like, we got to go to Sanaa. So we went to Sanaa, and then we went to Target to get our our sodas and waters and things for the week. So it was a very chill morning, which is exactly what we needed after a long day of travel. And again, we're annual pass holders. We don't need to be rope dropping every single day. So just kind of took it easy. Went to Animal Kingdom Lodge, went to Target. And then I believe we made our way to like the studios that day. And it was surprisingly not that busy, Mike. I couldn't believe it. I was blown away. So,
I do remember because, we communicate throughout this trip. Like you're always texting me pictures and we talk and stuff. And like, you were like, oh, it's not that crowded. But I mean, things will change.
Things might change. But yeah, so we're coming back from Target, and Liz is like doing like we got the app open, you can filter to the theme park. And she's like, so she's asking me like, guess the wait times. We even do that at home, like over dinner and stuff like that. It's just kind of fun to do. And like, I couldn't believe it. Like, where Rise of the Resistance was like 50 minutes. This is like 3 p.m. And
that's crazy.
Like Tower of Terror, 30 minutes. Like, what is happening? So we went over there. and Slinky Dog, I think, was like 75 minutes. I was like, let's just do Slinky Dog. You know, like we love this attraction. We don't do it every trip because we don't want to wait necessarily. And like this is as fresh as we're going to be this whole trip. You know, we slept in. It's the first day. Like we could stand in a long line. This is as good as we're going to be. Mike, it was less than 30 minutes. It was unbelievable.
That's good because you were in the daytime Slinky Dog.
Yeah.
Spring break. Like you don't want to be in that line for 75 minutes if you can help it.
Yeah. So it was awesome. And then, you know, us, we're like, well, we're in the studios for a couple hours, did some good things, snacked a little bit, and like, hey, let's go back to the resort, you know, swim for a little bit before our Maya Grill dinner. And we were just talking about how much we love Maya Grill. Man. And Wade and I were just talking about this the other day. Like, it might be like one of like the best like dinner experiences at Walt Disney World. And I think it gets overlooked so much, but the atmosphere is great. You got the, what we call like our smooth jazz guitar guy, you know,
so many pictures of him.
Yeah. The menu is good. Like, I love like the vaulted ceilings in there. You know, it's just like this like tall space. It's just great cocktails, great food. And I think it's like a really affordable price for what you're getting there. So it's not that I want every listener to start making Maya Grill reservations, but I think you should give it a shot, especially if you're at Coronado. It's a no-brainer, but I think it's worth the trip over to Coronado to eat at Maya Grill.
It absolutely is, and you also have Three Bridges there. The thing is, the dining at Coronado is a reason to stay there. But then on top of that, the rooms at Coronado are excellent because you don't have to stay in the tower. You're going to get a great room because they've been recently refurbished. The pool at Coronado, which we're going to talk about. I mean, I hate to jump on this, but I mean, the dig side pool is amazing. It's got a great poolside bar with some hot items to enjoy. It's got a great running area. It's got 2 gyms. I mean, you got Barcelona Lounge, which you'll talk about.
Yeah. Let's just talk about Coronado. Yeah,
Coronado rocks. I mean, it's like I cannot turn away from this because in the price point, it's the best value right now.
I think it is. I know a lot of people are like, well, it's missing the Skyliner, you know, because like people love that about Caribbean Beach, but like I don't, and maybe they'll expand the Skyliner someday. Who knows, right? Like let's put it in the universe, right?
If I had the Skyliners, it'd be bonkers because it would then be a deluxe.
I mean, it would have to be because it almost feels deluxious right now. That's not really a word, but you know what I mean. Yeah. but yeah, so let's talk a little about Coronado. Like, if you're into like lounges and hanging out, like there's like 6 or 7 different lounges. Like it's unreal. Like you got Three Bridges, you got Barcelona, you got I can't think of the name of it right now. The place by Toledo up
Toledo.
Yep. There's a lounge right there. Yeah. You got Rick's. You got that little like margarita stand or that little, you know, the thing like on the pier kind of like where they have like the boat rentals and stuff. There's a lounge right there too. Like it's just loaded with great entertainment and food offerings. Like it's so awesome. We spent a lot of time at Barcelona Lounge. Got to know Benji and some of the servers over there. Like they were fantastic, great drink selection. And we would just hang out there, Mike, and just chat and play games. Like, and you know, it's funny, like how our Disney vacations have evolved to that. You know, and it's just, and those are some of the memories I remember the most, where we're just hanging out, relaxing, not worrying about, you know, what rides we're going to do and shows like that. We just talk as a family and which we do a lot. The 3 of us spend a lot of time together. We really do. But like, it's just fun to like slow down at our favorite place in the world and just like catch up on like what's been happening in life. I mean, those are just I can't explain it fully, but those are just the best memories for me, Mike.
I agree because like you guys played cards there for quite a while down the Barcelona Lounge, and you had a story that you shared. We've talked about it, but I mean, you briefly maybe recap it. But the thing is, like, trip 1 or trip 2 of your Disney like story, like when you first go, you consider that wasted time. Like, I'm wasting time at the resort playing cards.
Yeah.
Now, best memories ever.
Yeah. Right. I think our friend Craig in the Discord said it perfectly once. He was like, when I'm at the resort, I'm not concerned about necessarily missing like rides and all that. But when I'm at the theme parks, I'm concerned about missing the pool time and like all the leisure time. It's kind of like, it's just weird.
But early on, like your first few trips, you're like, if you're at the resort, you're constantly having FOMO of like what's going on at the parks.
Yeah.
And then at some point it flips.
It just changes for you. Yeah. And I think both are great. I think it's great to have a balance of that, which we tried to do on this trip. But yeah, so we played cards at Barcelona. We talked about on the live show. I'll briefly bring it up again though, that you know, I love how the characters will stop at the resorts. And I think those are some of the best character interactions there are, because it reminds me of Disneyland a little bit, how they're so approachable. You know, you can just kind of go up to them. I know they still have a handler and whatnot, but like they're just full of energy. Everyone's having a great time taking selfies. You can have the handler take a photo with you, or a family behind you. It's just so much fun. And we're playing cards, and I heard this like do 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 do, like this bang noise. And I'm like, and we're sitting by this door that says like cast member. So I'm just waiting for this door to open. I thought they were just knocking on the door to let you know, hey, the door's going to swing open. But it never swung open, Mike. And then I hear the do 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 again. And I'm like, what is that noise? And I look up, and it's Dale, like from Chippendale, just looking down and just like waving at us while we're playing cards. So I'm like, hey, how's it going? Then all of a sudden he starts like signaling what like Beth and Elizabeth's cards were, and he was spot on.
He's a shark.
He would make he'd go like 3 2 times to make a 6, and then he'd like draw a heart, like 6 of hearts, and then sure enough, Elizabeth has 6 of hearts in her hand. It was unreal. And this went on, I kid you not, because I took a photo of it when it started, and then we took a selfie at the very end, and there's like a 10 to 15 minute like gap between that. Like this went on for almost 15 minutes. I mean, I don't know if like the lobby was like empty and no one was wanting to see Dale, but like I think he was just blowing everyone off and just like focusing all his attention on our card game. Like those interactions are just priceless, Mike. It was just so cool. And I mean, I know it's only been a month, but I'm going to be talking about that one for a really, really long time. For sure.
I mean, Dale is now doing 7 to 10 years for gambling in the Florida penal system, but it was worth it.
Card shark for sure. But yeah, but yeah. So a cool thing about Barcelona too. So they actually have breakfast there, which I did not know.
I didn't know this. Like you guys were getting like full on breakfast sandwiches.
Yeah.
I had no idea.
So, and the good thing is if you're the rope dropper, right? Like we were talking about that on like Chris's family. I think they were talking about that on Wednesday's show, like rope dropping for early entry and all that. Like it's hard to sometimes stop for breakfast because you're waking up really early for some of these, especially if it's Animal Kingdom. But they're open at 6 a.m. and you can get like their specialty coffees, and they have like croissant sandwiches, and they're like really good. So that was kind of like our go-to, right? Like if you wanted to wake up early in the day, like we would skip. What's the name of the like what's the counter service?
El Mercado.
El Mercado. Yeah. So we'd skip that sometimes and just do Barcelona Lounge instead for breakfast because it was nice and quick and relatively like good price, and you get those specialty coffees too. So just throwing that out there, and you can snack there too. Like we did a charcuterie board one day when we were playing cards and all that. So don't just think of that as like a lounge to get drinks, because not everyone's into drinking, right? Like we don't all have to have a cocktail, but they have some like specialty like non-alcoholic drinks, and they have some food offerings too to consider.
Beautiful place too, and if you got to get some work done, that's a great place to get work done. Because some people have to work, check in every once in a while with your laptop. Great place to work
for sure. I know I could go like super long about this trip, but there's one more thing I did want to talk about the Coronado, and that is the pools. We love the pools. So
yeah, you are the swimmer.
I love my quiet pools. Like we were right there at Casitas 4, as I mentioned. That is like the pool building basically, and we spent every day in that pool. And we would play cards poolside. It was kind of, I mean, it wasn't like cold, but it wasn't like blazing hot. When we went to the pool, it seemed like, so there'd always be this breeze, so it felt kind of cold sometimes, but it was just so nice to hop in there, even just for like a few seconds, right, just to cool down a little bit. And I'd even go there at night. There would be times where we came back from the parks late, and I walk into the room and I see there's no one in the pool, like I'm just gonna throw my trunks on and just go swim a few laps. And then like boom, 30 steps later, I'm back in my room. It was so awesome.
It's so funny because Simon said that the pools were too warm.
Really?
Top Century. Yeah, this is like one of his things. Those pools were too warm. They're just
okay. He would have liked what was happening here.
We're booking in the week with the water temperatures. That's so funny.
But I do recommend, if anyone can swing it, if you got a long trip especially, to try to do like a full-on pool day. At least start with a pool day. And we did that one day in the trip. We're like, all right, the dig site opens at, I can't remember if it was like 9 or 10. Let's just say it was 9 o'clock. And like, let's just go to the dig site right at 9 o'clock, get some chairs, and we'll have breakfast. We'll have lunch at the pool, have a couple of cocktails. It's going to be a fun pool day. And I remember, Mike, I don't know if you remember this too. Like the dig site, I recall back in the day when they would open it up for the day, they'd have the kids like go in by like where the pyramid is, and they would like do this chant or something. And then like the water, but they're like opening up the water gods and like the water would start coming down. I don't know if I imagined that.
No, they did. Like it was the waterfall would start like down the thing.
Exactly. So I was telling Emily like, oh, we got to get there like right at a rope drop so that we can like so we can open up the pool with the water. So we get there and like the gate, you can picture like where the food stand is and the bar, like we're entering at that gate. There's like 12, 15 people already waiting to like get in the pool and they have not unlocked it yet. I'm like, wow. All right, we're not the only ones that want to rope drop the pool.
Maybe throwing elbows for a chair for a lounger.
Exactly, because that's just like on one side because there's different gates, right?
Yeah.
And then so I'm telling the story about like, oh yeah, they're like once they let us in, you know, we're gonna like we're gonna summon the gods to start the water. Exactly. That's what I was doing. I'm actually doing that. My back is to like the pool, and I'm telling her, and then Liz is like, Scott, look, and the water, and then they start.
I mean, we're dads, dude. That happens.
Yeah.
That's how it goes.
But I mean, it was cool. So like, we weren't actually in the pool area yet, but like, it was kind of cool to still see the water start. Yeah. And then they gave the all clear for us to come in, and like, we got our chairs, you know, and then we went to I mean, I don't necessarily encourage this, like to like save a seat, but we're like, we had to get some breakfast, so we put our stuff down, quick, got our breakfast, came back to eat it poolside. And all the chairs are full, Mike. Like it took like 20 minutes for all the chairs to be full. Isn't that nuts?
See, that is okay. And I sing the praises of Coronado constantly, but when they built that tower, I mean, that resort was built, you know, with a capacity for that feature pool without the tower. And that tower had a ton of rooms. Like they almost need to add a secondary feature pool.
I think we talked about that before too. Yeah. I was blown away that they did not add another pool. Right. I know maybe conventioners don't go to the pool, but like there's still families staying in that tower.
It's mostly families. They need a second feature pool. I mean, it's okay. I mean, you know, nobody's getting hurt by it, but I mean, you know, the early birds are going to get the loungers and some people are going to get left out.
And part of that could just be with spring break too, right? True. And then and we've seen this at other pools too. Like we saw last summer at the Grand Floridian, like you had to be there right at rope drop for the pool basically to get a chair. So that's kind of what I'm saying. What my point of the story is, like the pool is great. I love the dig site. I love the food options. You got the bar there. It's just the Jaguar slide is one of my favorite slides.
You were tearing it up that day.
I was, man. So I raced some kids. So before we went to get that sandwich, I was like, oh, I gotta cool off because I was hot already. I was like, from standing out there, I was like, I gotta get in the slide, and I was racing like some 8-year-olds to get up there. Like I pulled a hamstring, Mike. They got the best of me. But I was probably number 3 or 4 to go down the slide that day.
That's why we love Scotty G, dude. He pulled a hamstring racing an 8-year-old in the Jaguar slide at Coronado Springs.
It was worth it, man. It was so much fun.
Love it.
But yeah, so I recommend to do a pool day, especially if you got like 5, even if you're only doing like a 4-day trip. Like I think if you're staying on site, like take advantage of your resort. All the resorts are great. So try to do a pool day and try to get there early so that you can maximize that time and make sure you have a chair, you know. So
all right, so we got to talk theme parks because we got about 20.
I know I haven't even talked about a theme park yet.
25 minutes. We got to talk dining, dude. So we got 25 minutes. So this has got to be the best of the best. So make it good.
Okay. So dining, I got to talk about Hoop-de-Doo again. One of my biggest Disney regrets is that I waited a long time to go to Hoop-de-Doo. I mean, I'm talking over 10 years before we finally went there. And I love it. And I know you've done it. I think they may have changed the show a little bit in the last 2 years from what I've heard. I think it's a fantastic show. It's super cool. Just like going to the fort. We talked about this a little bit on Wednesday. Like it's just something cool about that environment, going over to the fort, whether you go by bus or if you go by boat, which is my ideal way, you know, from the Magic Kingdom over there. It's just a cool spot. But we had an unbelievable table at Hoop-de-Doo, and you've seen the photo. Like we're basically on the stage, Mike.
You were basically tickling the ivory. You were almost like the secondary pianist.
Exactly. Yeah, the banjo and the pianist are like right there. Like I could have just shared the bench with the piano player, you know, and like I could have been playing the low notes while he's playing the high notes. We could have done some dueling thing, you know. But and I have a strange theory on how I got that table. And I think it's based on like a combination of like when you booked your ADR and your party size, because I have to believe I was one of the first people to book that ADR because I was right at 60 days. and it was part of like a long reservation, you know, and it was like one of our last days. So I was like 60 plus 7 days, you know, when I booked it. So I had to imagine I was one of the first groups to book it. And they probably said, all right. And my guess is when they assign the seating, maybe they look at the time that reservations were booked, like, okay, give them table 1, give them table 2. I could be wrong, but like,
I think you're totally thinking too much. I think it's totally random.
You think so? Because I've done this twice now.
Maybe,
I've done it twice where I've been right up in the front.
That's so random, but maybe it is. I mean,
I don't. Who knows? It probably is random, but I just have it in my head. Like the earlier you book, the better your seat's going to be.
That's how it should be. I hope the world. Yes, I hope the world works that way.
I know. And now I don't want someone that's like, well, Scott said, and I booked at 60 plus 8 days. And no, like I was in the far back.
I know, seriously, because if I did it, that's exactly. I'd be like, why am I in the corner of the balcony facing outside?
But I will tell you, so we've done Hoop-de-Doo twice, and it's just been the 3 of us. I really want to do it with some friends. Like I think it'd just be a hoot and hollering time with a big group. I mean, because I see all the other big groups in the audience, and they're just having fun and hollering. Both times I've done it, the server is like a magician. Like my beer is never empty. And he started me with 2 of them. And then he kept giving me 2 at a time. I'm like, dude, what are you trying to do to me here?
He's magic because he's going to get that tip.
Yeah. Well, the tip is already in. You don't even, that's the thing.
Yeah.
You prepay for Hoop-de-Doo and you know, the gratuities included. It's weird. You're done with the show. They start cleaning up the tables and you just, it's like cruise line. You just like get up and leave. It feels so weird.
Yeah. That's true.
Hoop-de-Doo is great. We'll talk about the parks a little bit.
Yeah.
My favorite time of year, Flower and Garden Festival at Epcot. I just love that festival. I know everyone has a favorite, right? It could be Food and Wine. It could be like the holidays, or it could be Festival of the Arts. Flower and Garden for me, maybe it's because our first trip was in March during Flower and Garden, but Epcot it never looks more beautiful to me than during Flower and Garden, especially the early, like May Flower and Garden is a lot different than March Flower and Garden, I think. I mean, March it's just so beautiful with the flower beds and everything. And when they added those food booths a few years ago, it just upped that festival even more because I think the food offerings are even better for Flower and Garden than Food and Wine.
I'm with you. It's strange because it's called Food and Wine, so you'd expect, and maybe it's my palate, but I don't know. Like I think that it's at least as good during Flower and Garden, the food and the samplings. Yeah.
So those are great. You know, we love doing those scavenger hunts. Even our 16-year-old daughter, you know, driving, and like I know we might push it a little bit. I think she has fun too, and she's such a champ because we take a photo of her with it's the spike pollinating thing or whatever. So like she gets the map, she puts the sticker on, we take a photo of her next to the spike. And like this time of year, we've done this a few times. We've been there over Easter. They have the Easter egg hunt too. So we did the Easter egg hunt. Like it's just fun. I think it's a fun way the tour roll showcase, especially if you got little ones. It just keeps them engaged, something to look for. And you can even do it without buying the map because you can just like look for the things. You don't have to have the map or the sticker. So it's just a fun thing to do. Like I like those, Mike. I don't know how you feel about them.
I mean, I haven't been down there a whole lot during that time, except for like during during races and stuff. And, I just like just walking around. Epcot never looks more beautiful, with all the, especially like we've said this for years on the show, is that when you come from a place like Missouri or Michigan or any place where you have the cold weather and, in February or March, like you've been in places where it's been brown for literally 4, 5, 6 months. And you go down there and you see all the beautiful flowers and you feel the heat on your skin. You see the sun, that. And then you get the great snacks, great foods. And plus, I mean, live entertainment too, that goes on during this time.
So great.
What about live entertainment? It was something that stuck out for you while you were down there. I mean, whether it's like, just Cobra, Cobra.
Those are great. We spent some time in the UK and watched that band like back in that little garden area in the UK. So we just happened to be there at the right time when the set was starting. I was like, hey, Liz, let's watch this. And so they introduced themselves, and then they started like, I started hearing this instrument. I'm like, oh my God, are they about to play Baba O'Reilly by The Who? Like, and sure enough, like, boom, boom, like it's just like rocking out. Like it was so loud. And it's funny, like it is so loud when you're back there in that garden. But like if you're on the promenade, like in the UK, you could probably still hear it. But if you're in like Canada, you probably don't even hear it. Isn't that like amazing? You got this loud rock band just like jamming out in the UK, and then like a pavilion over, you don't even hear them. Like it's like Disney magic, you know.
It is cool how they built that. Now, I will say back in the day with Off Kilter, again, old, and we've been there forever. You know, we've been going forever now with Off Kilter in the evenings when they would rock out on that stage. Like you would hear them across the way in Mexico because their stage faced the promenade.
Yep.
And I think that was intentional, right? To draw you in, because the times they played were usually, they didn't play as often. And I think they wanted to draw that attention over to Canada, because think about it, Canada didn't have that much going on.
They didn't. Yeah.
And that would get them over there. Yeah.
Yep. So I love that. Speaking of Canada, we watched the film. We tried to make sure we watched all the films this trip. Obviously, you know, we watched Impressions of France, but
oh my gosh.
Yeah. So caught the films. Like, I like that Canada film. Like it, and it was funny. Not funny. It was kind of sad to me. We're watching it, and about halfway through, half the audience left, which like kind of bums me out. Like maybe they just didn't know what they were getting into, or maybe they had somewhere to go. But like, it kind of bums me out when someone like commits to watching a show, and I don't know everyone's circumstances, and then they leave. And then it gets to the finale where they start singing like, what is the song? Like the Canada
Far and Wide.
Yeah. Far and Wide. Yeah. They start singing that song. Then everyone left. I thought they must have thought the video was over. It was just the three of us left in that theater for the last 4 minutes. Like, cause we like that song. We're going to watch it.
They're worried maybe that they became Canadian citizens if they stayed. They lost their citizenship to their home country.
I know, we're just looking at each other like, why did everybody leave? Like, I don't know. Like, and I know that stuff happens. Like, and some of these shows are longer. They didn't know what it was actually going to be, but it just kind of bums me out when I see people leave, man.
I'm 100% with you. Like, I understand. Like we talked about this. Unfortunately, if you heard the replay on yesterday's replay of Sunday night show, I mean, your kid has a blowout in test track. Like, fail, dude. Get out for the good of the cause.
Well, you have to, yes.
Leave immediately. I don't care what show it is. But you know what? I mean, unless it's like an emergency, like, dude, hang. You know what I'm saying? Like, wait till the end. It's not the worst thing in the world. You're on vacation. Like,
Impressions of France is the worst for me because you're sitting in a chair, you're comfortable.
Right.
And you got this amazing soundtrack, this great visuals. I give people the stink eye, man. When they like walk by me to like, and I have to like move my legs and do that little shuffle, you know. Like, what'd you say? I'm ready to trip them.
I should not have said that. I did not mean that, but they deserve it.
But anyway, so that was cool. There's a couple. I mean, I could go so long. There's a few things I really want to talk about. So we talked about Easter a little bit.
Yeah.
One of my big things was got to see the Easter Bunny. Mr. and Mrs. Bunny come out for Easter at Walt Disney World.
Hang on, let me give the about to get salty. Go ahead.
I love seeing Mr. and Mrs. Bunny. And we've seen them a couple times, like, and we've like kind of like coordinated outfits, you know, so we can like look all Eastery with them. It's just a cool thing to do. So we're at Magic Kingdom. Oh, I think it was like on a Wednesday or Thursday, and they're not like in their normal spot, like at the front of the park, like kind of by like City Hall or whatever.
Yep.
I'm like, well, why aren't they there? They're not here anymore. I'm texting Beth. I'm texting Ricky. I'm like, where's Mr. and Mrs. Bunny? Are they not here this year?
Ricky, we need to know at DisneyWorldAfterAll.com. Where's the bunny?
And Ricky's like, yeah, they're there. And then like Beth shows me like the times. I was like, oh yeah, I should have looked in the app. Like we were searching the wrong thing. Like it was weird. I put bunny in, but it still didn't pop up as anything. You just had to go to the character section of the app and they were listed there. I'm like, oh, sweet. They're kind of by that gazebo where Tiana normally is, you know, in Liberty Square.
Yep.
So we're in Starbucks. I tell the girls like, well, I'm just going to walk over there right now and get us in line while you get the drinks, you know, because it's probably going to be a little bit of a wait. I get over there and the line's like cut off for like that hour window or whatever. And I'm like, oh, you know, I really like, I'm hot, you know, we were just going to be here really quick to see the bunny. Like we're going to have dinner coming up. I think it was the night we're going to Hoop-de-Doo actually. I was like, let's just come back. You know, we're doing Keys to the Kingdom, which is I want to talk about briefly too. On Friday, we'll come back. We'll do it after Keys to the Kingdom. So Friday comes, we do Keys to the Kingdom, and I'm ready to see the bunny. And it's the same situation. The line is already like cut off or whatever that hour window is, or that half-hour window is they're going to meet. So I'm like, well, it's going to be another hour till they're here, but I'm willing to just sit here and meet with them. And Liz and Beth and Emily were like, whatever, Scott, if you really want to see Mr. and Mrs. Bunny, we'll hang out. I'm like, and you guys can sit on a bench somewhere. I will just stand here in this line, like
you are
that's roped off.
Easter Bunny. You want to make sure he comes and visits.
And there's already a couple people doing it. There's a person like sitting in the front, just like reading a book, you know, waiting, you know, and then like a couple more people. So I just stand up there behind them. and then people start standing behind me. So now you got this huge line that's happening, and mind you, the people that are already like in for this time period hasn't even like started yet. So like there's like two lines almost. It's like it's chaotic, and you've seen that area, right? It's very congested.
It's basically the old smoking area.
Yeah,
yeah.
It's very small. So you got like a line of people that are like in a roped off, and then you have this new line forming for like an hour later, basically. And a cast member just comes, and she seems like overwhelmed. She's like, "I just want you all to know that this is not a line. Like you're standing here, but like this is not a line. Like Mr. and Mrs. Bunny, like we already have a line for the 1:30. They'll be back at 2:30, but we can't start a line yet." I'm like, so I kind of looked like, what about these people like that are already here? Because she was kind of looking at me when she said this. I'm like, what about the people in front of me? She's like, well, I'm just telling you, this is not a line. So I get out. I'm like, whatever. We're just not going to see Mr. and Mrs. Bunny this year. But then, like, I look, there's like 50 people that were behind me, and they're just like standing there still, and they like refuse. Like, no one is listening to this poor cast member. So just get the visual. There's like 200 people in this small area waiting to see Mr. and Mrs. Bunny. It's so congested. No one knows what's a line and what's happening. And then, the cast member, people are asking the cast member, like, well, when can I get in? You know, like, when will you start this line? She's like, it won't be until this time or whatever. So then all these people start huddling up. Like, Mike, I got scared. Like, I got scared that there's going to be some fights that are going to break out because people that are waiting a long time in a fake line are going to get cut off by some person that just shows up, you know, like 5 seconds before they actually open the line. Like, it got dangerous, and I had to remove myself from that scene.
And that's where they almost have to have like, and again,
a virtual queue.
No good answer, but like a virtual queue or like some kind of like tickets they hand out to people. Yeah. And like once the tickets are gone, like, you know, like a physical like piece of paper or something. Like once these 50 things are gone, dude, you're out. I mean, see ya.
I think they have to, like,
because I mean, you're right. I mean, people are going to hang out because they want to get the picture because like this person may get a picture and then I might not, and I really want this. But if you have like some kind of physical thing like in hand and you have 50 of them, and once you exhaust those, you can like people can physically see, look, dude, that's it. You know, like go on your way.
Yeah, I don't know how they solve it. I thought the virtual queue, and I'm not the biggest fan of virtual queues,
but you gotta do something.
But it helps. Then you just know, okay, I'm not seeing the bunny, but like it's not fair. Like if you planned on it and you wanted to see the bunny, but like I don't know what you're supposed to do because I was willing to wait like an hour in a line, but they told me I couldn't form a line.
And so like people are, and if everybody else hangs out there in that area and you see them get their
because I'm a rule follower. I didn't want to just like
I'm the same way.
I didn't want to stand in this line where a cast member said
they told you not to.
But then it's not fair to me that other people are just going to break the rule and do it. I just want to talk about it because it was just chaotic, and I felt bad for the cast member, to be honest, because like people are getting like hostile, like it's just to see the cute Mr. and Mrs. Bunny. That's what's crazy, Mike.
Buddy's gonna cause a riot for real. Mm-hmm. And that's one of the things too. It's a temporary meet and greet, right? So that's where I think you just have like little like slips, virtual queue be something. But anyway, there goes.
But that day we did Keys to the Kingdom, and I won't go into all the details of that, but I will just say highly recommended for especially listeners of the show. We're all big Disney fans. If you haven't done it, highly recommend it. I know there's many different tour guides, so some of them might so it could be different. So if you've done it before, maybe you should do it again because like they might do a little different storytelling. Like our guide told us that they have like a former like Secret Service guy or whatever that does the tour, so he focuses a lot about like security when he's doing the tour. While he was like very like Walt, like he loved Walt, so he focused a lot about like on Walt and Roy like during the tour. It was kind of cool, so you get different perspectives based on your guide, but a lot of it's going to be very similar. And even as a big Disney fans as we all are here like on the podcast, like I knew a lot of the stuff they talked about, right? But it was still like very cool for me. Like it was cool to see the things that I saw that most day guests do not get a chance to see. The way that I just love the passion behind our guide too. Like they were so into it. Like you can tell they're very passionate about sharing like the windows on Main Street and just all the storytelling that we did as we went around the whole park of Magic Kingdom. It was just one of the coolest moments, just spending that time, like learning about Magic Kingdom, I say in quotes. I mean, I heard a lot of it before, but it was just really cool. And like seeing like the other guests, like reaction, we got to do 2 rides, which I thought was cool. Felt like a VIP when we just kind of showed up and like went on Jungle Cruise. That was pretty neat. You know, it was like a 65-minute wait and we just showed up and did it.
So you did Jungle Cruise Mansion?
And we did Haunted Mansion.
Yep.
Yeah. So and then we had lunch at Columbia Harbor House, which is pretty cool. So it was really interesting getting there. I wanted to talk about this because we were talking about getting the Magic Kingdom early for like early entry and all that. So we had a car, but we're going to take the bus to Magic Kingdom because it's just easier than having to like park at the TTC and all that. So we take the bus, we get there super early, wait a little bit for the bus at Coronado. I got my Barcelona lounge, croissant, because that's the only thing that's open early in the day. So we're eating our breakfast. Bus gets there. Met a nice listener, I think from Ohio they were. So hello, if you're listening. It was awesome seeing you on the bus. You know what I'm about to talk about. And all of a sudden the bus is like going very slow and it's stopping a lot. And we're like, what's going on? It's loud because we're all like standing. It's a full bus. And you can kind of hear the bus driver like I can't quite hear what they're saying. And then someone like puts up their GPS and you can see like it's just red like all over. So there was an accident on like World Drive and no one was going anywhere basically. No. And we're like, holy cow, we have an 8:00 Keys to the Kingdom tour that we've paid for and we're trying to get there early. I mean, we're trying to do everything right and like we're just stuck. So we're like, how do we even let them know? Like we kind of like assume that they might know because other people might be in the same situation, So we try to find this phone number that's on the reservation. It just takes us basically to like a service, like a call center. And they didn't know. Like it was like some sweet older lady. They're like, "Oh dear, like I'm so sorry about that. Like, have you tried this? Like we can't try anything because we're stuck on a bus.
Yeah, stuck on World Drive.
Yeah. So like eventually we went around like Grand Floridian Way to like get around like the back way in, and we finally got there. But all we kept thinking about was like, man, the people that are staying like at monorail resorts are having a day in Magic Kingdom right now because those are probably the only people that are in the park because they didn't have to take a bus, like because no one was getting there. Like it didn't matter what direction really you were coming from, unless you're maybe coming from like the back end, like where like some cast member areas are. Like you weren't getting the Magic Kingdom very quickly because of the accident. So I just want to talk about that. Like that was crazy. And you can prepare so much. You can like plan to come so early, but sometimes like things happen, like accidents, and your plans might not go according to plan. Anyway, we rushed in, we're like booking it. Like we said goodbye to our friends from Ohio as we're like speed walking, we're trying to get in there. We get into it's like right by like Tony's restaurant is basically where the check-in is. And they're like, are you so-and-so? We've been waiting for you. And we're like the last group. Like they're about to like start the tour. Like I think they would have put us like on the 8:30 tour, to be honest. But like they're like, oh yeah, ready for you. And then like they had to see our IDs because they had to see Emily's ID to make sure she was 16. And then like right then we had to decide what our lunch was, Mike. It was crazy. And like it was not your normal Columbia House menu too, which I thought was kind of interesting. It was like, I'm trying to remember what it was even. I think we all got chicken tenders and French fries basically. Yeah. But it was like, you looked at this menu, you told them what you want, you told them what to drink, and boom, they gave us our headset, and boom, like we were like on the tour. Like we had like no time to relax. It was like Amazing Race stuff, kind of. It was wild, but it was an awesome tour.
I do love that tour because I've done it twice, and even if you're a huge Disney fan, it's just cool for the access utilidors, just getting the little nuggets backdoored into attractions. It's awesome. But yeah, I mean, those things happen. I mean, it's out of your hands. You just got to kind of just
out of your hands, and that's why I just got to tell everyone, like, you just got to relax. Like, I know it's not going to be a full vacation killer if you just show up a little bit late, but it can be frustrating, right? Because you did everything right. You got to the bus early. You're on that first bus to the park. You're going to be there early, and then just things just happen. You just got to roll with it when you're at Walt Disney World. Things like that happen, and when it's all said and done, you're not the only one. It's happening to everybody.
That's true. So let me ask you this, okay? Because we got about
I know I'm going long.
Well, because I mean the thing is, you're going to be back on. We do Sunday night. We can talk even more.
Yeah.
Best meal though. Best meal of the trip.
Ooh, best meal. We had some good ones. I talked to you live from one at Be Our Guest. Like I thought that was a really good.
Or maybe most surprising. Something surprised you weren't expecting. Maybe it was that.
I'm gonna go with flying fish because it's been a long time since it's been the flying fish.
We never talk about that either.
Yeah. That's good. So kind of a cool story. We added an extra night onto our trip because our friends Jody and Tim from Ohio were were coming. Their spring break started a week after us. I guess we could have flown out of Ohio, Mike. That could have been another option maybe for the cheaper.
Or out of Kansas or Nebraska, right?
I'll just go to St. Louis.
Exactly.
Hang out with you for a little bit first. So it was kind of funny. Like we were going to be leaving the day they showed up, which was kind of a bummer. So we added on a day and they at the end, and they added on a day at the start. So we were able to spend some time together. So that worked out pretty good. So our families met. We went to Flying Fish. Our friends, the parents, their son was in town. So we invited him. So shout out to Owen. Thanks for joining us for dinner at Flying Fish. And it was just cool. It was a great meal. I think I went with a steak, which is weird because I had a great steak at Narcoossee's the night before too, but I just really wanted to try their steak. It was so good. Liz got this like red snapper that was delicious. Like the appetizers, the drinks, the company. It's just a cool restaurant. I think that's a signature you have not been to yet, right, Mike?
I've not been there. I mean, Flying Fish, my family will not eat seafood, and it's got fish in the name of the restaurant. It's a
I know, and that would like scare, but you can do non-fish things for sure. I know it's hard for them to get, but it's a cool atmosphere. I love the service was great, and then what's the beautiful thing about that too is that we wanted to go to Epcot and like hang out a little bit, watch some fireworks. So boom, we could just like walk over. It was a great way to finish off our trip with the fireworks, impressions de France, all that good stuff. So shout out to Jody and Tim and family. It was great to see you all and all the listeners. I had a few listeners come up to me like
it is awesome.
It still blows my mind, Mike. I know like it's awesome that you had me come on the show. I know we're like best friends, so it's fun talking Disney with you and like going on these vacations with us. But it is something wild, man, where you're just hanging out and like someone says, "Hey, are you Scotty G?" Like it's so cool.
It still blows me away. We do this forever, and we got the Discord now, the clubhouse, and we got people join us from all over the planet. We're talking all the time, but people come up in person on a trip, and it's still awesome. I love it.
I just want to tell everyone I love it. So like
me too.
Like you heard me today. Like I haven't let Mike say like 5 words today. I love to talk. I love meeting new people. It's like one of my favorite things to do is just learn about someone else and their story. So always me and Mike. I know Mike's the same, man. We are so approachable. Like we would love to like just chat with you if you ever run into us. So
let me ask you one question as we wrap, because again, the good news is like you're always going to be on here. We do every Sunday night, and we're gonna have we always rotate kind of the panel here now. So this trip though, I kind of teased this earlier in the show. Like the crowds were light early, but then they got intense towards the end. Like the crowds grew. Because I mean, I was talking to you, and you're like, "Ooh, man, it got crazy." So how did you adapt as somebody that was vacationing down there? Because I think this could be important for somebody that might be going down over Christmas. Maybe they arrive with Thanksgiving and they're like, "Oh, we got lucky this trip. We're not going to have big crowds." And then all of a sudden, day 2, day 3, man, wait times insane. Busy. And I don't want people to think their trip is ruined. Like, how did you make changes on the fly to still have a great vacation, but the wait times were high and you still wanted to have a good time. So you still had a good time at the end of your trip, but you had to kind of make changes.
I'm glad you called attention to that. Yeah. Cause like that Saturday and Sunday, like, I don't know what was going on. The crowd seemed pretty good. We're like, "Oh yeah, this is going to be great." Then Monday we went to Animal Kingdom. We're like, "Oh my God, all the people are here." Like,
your favorite park,
Yeah, I know. It was kind of unbelievable. By the way, I saw the lion roaring at Animal Kingdom on the safari. I'd never seen that before. It was so cool. So you do have to adapt. And we talk about the strategy of like get there early, midday break, come at night. And that's kind of what we were doing. We're taking advantage of the early entry, which is harder for my family these days because we've done this so many times. Like we want to just kind of relax. Plus you'll hear where we're closing down the park every night, basically. So it's hard to like close down a park and boom, come back early the next day. But we try to take advantage of that early entry. And that paid off. You get 2 or 3 attractions done before the park gets really busy. And my daughter, I know every family is different. My daughter now at 16, Mike, says, "If we do 3 attractions, it was a good day." That's what she says.
She's wise beyond her years.
Yep. So like at Animal Kingdom, we did the safari, we did Navi River Journey, and then we did Everest. And then like we saw like all the crazy crowd. She was like, "Dad, we can leave. We don't have to do a single thing the rest of the day. We already hit our 3." So not necessary for everybody, especially if you're at Magic Kingdom. But what we did, Mike, how we really adjusted was closing down the parks. Like we were dedicated to like let's have like our dinner at 5 or 6 o'clock. And then like, let's just go like 7. It's because Magic Kingdom was open until 11, I think, every night. Let's just do Magic Kingdom 7 to 11 every night. Like, let's just be committed. And and I know, like, Magic Kingdom at night is so much fun. Like, it's just like you feel like a little kid again, man, when you're there. You're just bouncing from attraction to attraction, like just having the time of your life, really. And we had so much fun, and that's what we did. Like, that's how we adapted, and we got so much done at night. Like we had to give up some firework viewing time, because like everyone kind of like wants to watch the fireworks. So a couple times we would just watch them from Big Thunder or whatever, like away from like the madness. But it helped us because then boom, we could just jump right on Big Thunder right after fireworks, and it'd be a 10-minute wait or whatever, So going at night and just closing the parks helped a ton, and it did at the other parks too. Like we watched Fantasmic twice. I forgot to talk about that. My daughter Emily just loves Fantasmic, and one day we I don't know, we were at a resort having dinner, and we're like, hey, there's a second showing of Fantasmic. Should we just go over there? So we just went from dinner. We're at Olivia's. That's what it was. We're at Old Key West, and we just drove over to the studios just to close down the park to watch Fantasmic, and it was awesome.
And that's vacation, right? I mean, it's like dinner and a show. It's an opportunity for dinner and a show.
Yeah. And I'll tell you, if you can make the second showing work, like that's great. So we did both. So we did the dining package, and which is the first showing. And you get there early. They put you like in the center with the dining package, and as that arena, I call it arena, the stadium, whatever you want to call it, like fills up. Like it was full, and you had to wait there a long time usually because you get there early because you want to get a good seat and whatnot. The second showing, because they had to turn that thing around quick, which is kind of unbelievable that they do that, right? Because there's so many people that watch that. There's popcorn everywhere. They got to clean it up, and then boom, they're letting people in for the next showing. And there's not as much time in between there. So like, if you can make it work, I think the second showing is the way to go. It's going to be less crowded. You can like space out a little bit, and like, it still has a great energy, and it's an awesome show, and it's just less people. So if you can do it, I would recommend the second showing for sure.
No, I agree. I've done the second showing, and you're right. It is, you get a little more elbow room.
Yes, the elbow room is huge.
Everybody crowds for the first show. I mean, because they want to do that and kind of bounce.
And what's cool, like, and it's after the park is closed, really. So you're giving up like part time to do the first show. I mean, I'm not saying giving up because I think Fantasmic is awesome. I know it's Pam's favorite.
It's a trade off.
Yeah. So if you do the second show, then you got to do like 2 or 3 more rides. Well, not 2 or 3, but you've got to do a couple more rides maybe, and then you still get to watch the show after the park closes. Like that's just the way to do studios for sure.
A good strategy would be to do like Rise of Resistance during the first Fantasmic show, then go see Fantasmic second.
Perfect. I highly recommend that. Yeah. So. All in all, it was a great trip. The crowds are busy, as you said, but we made adjustments. The weather wasn't too hot, honestly. I was talking about the pool. Like sometimes, like you felt cold in there, but I just love spring break, Flower and Garden. I say this after every trip. It's just like, man, that was the best trip. But like, I tell you, Mike, man, it felt like the best trip. And maybe it's because we knew we weren't going to be coming till Thanksgiving. Like, I know 6 months isn't. That's kind of crazy to think that's a long time, but it kind of can be a long time for my family. We'd like to go, and it just sparked this excitement for us. And we're so excited to come back for Thanksgiving because we just left with a great taste in our mouth. Like we just love Walt Disney World. It's so great.
I love just following along and loved hearing about it today. And the good news is Sunday night, if people have questions about the trip, give us a call. We'll talk about it even more on Sunday night. So 7 o'clock Eastern, 6 o'clock Central. Give us a holler. It's you, me, and Scotty G on the BOGP open line. So we'll be on the air taking your calls. And if you have any questions about the trip, that's the time to, we'll just add you right into the call, and we'll just keep the trip report going, Scott.
Love it.
All right. Don't forget, our show is brought to you by the Magic for Less Travel. We'd love to help you plan a great trip just like Scott's. You want to go to Coronado, we can help you out with that. Any other resorts as well, even Disneyland, Disney Cruise Line, Adventures by Disney as well. Just swing by the website today over at the Magic for Less Travel. No additional cost to you. You get lots of little good booking bonuses as well. Also, I forgot to mention, we're always hanging out in the clubhouse. It's the BOGP clubhouse. It's our Discord server where we have channels for all the destinations: Disneyland, Walt Disney World theme parks, Walt Disney World resorts, dining. We talk dining all the time. I mean, we were talking about, should we go to Chef Mickey's on our next trip? Should we go over to Ohana for the Stitch breakfast? I mean, it's so much fun talking with our listeners 24/7. All day. We have some crew that comes in the morning. We have some night owls that come in at night. We have folks over in Europe that come in 2 o'clock in the morning, our time. But hey, we check those out in the morning when we get up. It's fun. Hang out with us. It's beourguestpodcast.com/Discord. We'll be seeing you over there soon, right now, hopefully. Also, don't forget our Amazon affiliate link, beourguestpodcast.com/Amazon. If you could use that when you shop online, it really helps us out. And our Patreon supporters, you guys are our all-stars. You guys make this happen. Just $5 a month. You can join us over there as well and support the show. You'll get a bonus show every week if you do that. It's called Mike in the Midwest, and we'd love to have your support. So coming over this week, we talked about give the Autopia out at Disneyland some love. Don't be mean to it. It was cutting edge back in the day, and it's still pretty cool. Scott and I had a good time out there in 22 when we had our first trip. I mean, it was fun.
Autopia is great. I mean, not to like jump into the closing here, but it is awesome. And like, and it's a Genie Plus attraction, so you got to do it. Like if you're doing Genie Plus, like you have no excuse not to do it.
It's a good filler attraction. You can get it anytime on Genie Plus. Like,
yes,
waiting for to ride the subs, boom, or you want to ride, jump off the monorail over there in Tomorrowland, that station that nobody ever uses.
Yeah. And right I know I talked about Magic Kingdom at night. Disneyland at night is the same way. It's just so magical. And Autopia at night is so much better. Like it's just me and Mike were riding partners, man. We were having a blast doing this. It's so much fun. And
then mobile order your Gibson girl and your nice person.
Exactly.
Anyway, we got to get out of here. Follow Scott on the social media at FScott. You know where to follow me, Be Our Guest Mike, at all the places, and we'll see you on Sunday night. So until then, you guys have an awesome weekend. Thanks for hanging with us this week. We love doing the show. It's so much fun. So until we get back together again, you guys stay safe, stay healthy, and we'll see you real soon. All righty.
Sorry, I was like all over the place there.
Oh, that's great. Dude, that's what it is. That's fun.
I had no structure at all. So I appreciate you bringing it in a little bit.
No worries. And shout out to Run Mike D over on Instagram. He is at your favorite place, Narcoossee's, right now. Checking in.
Dude, I will say I love the Discord, man. I know Pam and Ricky aren't in there a lot, so I try to be in there like all the time. Because I love chatting with people. It's a lot of fun.
I'm loving it because like I'm getting to know people, because like I think we've been missing that for years, really for years. Like I haven't, because like I feel like back with the message boards when we had those V Bulletin ones, like I knew people better, we had more of a community. Then like Facebook and Twitter kind of made people go every which way, but like Discord has been my jam. Like I love it.
I've noticed that you've been really liking it. I try to jump in like in the morning, at lunch, and then like 3 times a day, really, when I try to jump in on it.
So. I make myself not jump in there like when I'm getting my work done. Like I close it, and then once I get my work
that's when I do want to get into it.
Yeah, because I can hear it. Like I'm like, okay, stay awake. I get my work done. Then I get jumped in like at lunch.
Right.
It's
a great time to do it. Yeah,
it is. Well, hey, good shows, and tell the girls. So is that the dress behind you?
Yeah, it's in the bag.
That's what I figured.
There you go. I just got to move my head. There we go.
You're teasing your vlog, right there.
It's going to be in the vlog. Yeah.
See, look at that. Good product placement.
I already have like the recording. Oh my God. I already learned, like I have like the angle, like my intro is so bad. It's like all like chin, but oh well.
Dude, so you got to shoot from up above. I think.
I know.
I told me one time, like a long time ago.
But that was before I actually bought like a camera stand now, like with a ring.
Oh, dude.
That's going to be in the next vlog. You're going to see me.
Oh my God. You're starting to buy the equipment. Oh my God.
I know. I just want to have some good footage of our summer trip, and we'll just see what happens from there.
You got to buy it. I'm expecting it because I may never go over there, so I've got to see these places.
You're gonna go there.
I want to go there, but I want to see like the stuff. Like you're gonna have to edit fast because I don't want to be waiting to see this stuff.
It'll be like next year when I have. Like,
you got to. I expect turnaround in.
That's why I'm practicing. That's why I'm practicing now, so I can get the hang of it.
I'm editing right now before I go to Taco Bell.
I think I might do a golf episode, like me and my brother. Like that's the thing. No one's gonna care about this stuff, but it helps me at least like get editing
stuff. Yeah, edit. Yeah. Okay, good. Okay, well, I'm going to edit right now.
Okay, and I'm gonna go have some goulash, enjoy Taco Bell, tell the girls I say hello. All right.
Tell the girls same. I will. All right. See you, buddy.
Bye, everyone.
See you guys.